I've never felt so close to you at a 2 metre distance.
Oh, do you know what? I could just shoot my wad. I think I could reach you from here. Welcome to the Midlife Gamer Podcast. Today is Sunday, the 21st of June 2020. We are in year 47 of the lockdown and things are just getting worse and worse. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I found it coming along the M40 and the A43. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I have right in front of me the most handsome, beautiful man that I've laid eyes on in such a long time. It's Mr. Matthew Moore in the hood. How are you, brother?
Oh, welcome to this little quiet hamlet of the world. You're very welcome to be here.
I know. So, a quick explanation, because we originally were going to record on Thursday, and unfortunately, due to technology, that solution was garbage. It wasn't going to fix what we wanted. It wasn't a fit for our desires and needs. So I was saying, what are you doing on Sunday? Remember?
Yeah, as it happens, all the plans that were going to happen are just cancelled.
Yeah.
As it happens, my diary was free today.
So I've made the journey, observing all safety measures in line with government requirements. We have not touched each other. We have maintained a 2 metre safe distance, and as we sat here right now, there's an amount of wood between us, and I'm not talking about Matthew's penis. There is enough wood between us to satisfy that 2 metre requirement. We are clean, we're lean, and we're a dream machine, ready to be obscene and talk about games, stuff, and everything else. So, my friend, how's your lockdown been so far since we last spoke? We know it's been a while. We don't have to say that.
No. It's getting there. It's getting there. I'm a busy bee. The only thing that I've been utilising as a key worker. So this whole key worker thing, yeah. I mean, like, I don't look after anybody. I'm not patient facing or all that sort of stuff. But I do come under that category of key worker. So I do get to use the NHS hour for the shopping. And oh god, if it weren't for that, I don't know what I would have done. I don't, and I do feel bad. I didn't feel. Okay, the first time I felt a little bit bad seeing the huge queue. Obviously, it was somewhat longer than it seemed because of everyone's 2 meters away. But there's me. I'm thinking, like, I'm sure they're all looking at me thinking, you're not a doctor. You're not looking after no one, are you, fella? You're just an IT grunt, aren't you? Well, I might be, but
I think you could pass yourself off as a doctor. If you just, like, walked around in a set of scrubs. Yeah?
Yes. But it's been all right. I guess it's taken me a while to get used to the fact. I was kind of like thinking, I can't wait for the pub to open again. I can't wait to see them guys again. And as time's gone on, I've thought, well, do you know what? Do I need that in my life necessarily? I mean, if the pubs are going to open at, the 4th of July or so, I ain't running back down there anytime soon.
No.
I generally don't see any point.
No.
So my bubble, everyone's own little bubble, I'm quite happy with mine. I have seen some people, like at the very first, and maybe a couple of weeks ago, we had friends come round and they stayed on the other side of the fence in our respective camping chairs just to chat.
Yeah.
And then the next time they came into the garden, still plenty of distance away. And we've just been sort of doing that. So the way that I've been seeing it myself is I'm forever going to be making a risk assessment based on everybody I encounter. And right now I'm quite happy. So the only people I sort of come into contact with are people who are taking this shit seriously. Because I'm not waiting for anybody in government to say, it's all right, mate, you can go and cuddle somebody again now. Your dry humps are now allowed.
Yeah.
Because that's not how disease works, I'm afraid.
No.
But yeah, I've had a few wobbles, some ups and some downs a couple of times, particularly early on. I was just thinking, this didn't feel real. And I was incredibly cavalier about it to start with. I was like, it's not going to be a problem. It's not going to. Well, I think it's called 19. There's been 18 of them already. I mean, just making shit up, really. What about yourself? Are you? I don't know. Are you going stir crazy? Are you missing anything? Are you getting out?
I think if I'm honest, I'm actually really enjoying this lockdown, and that's not taking anything away from. Clearly, there's a lot of pain and suffering out there, and people have lost loved ones. But for my own personal situation, I've been fortunate enough to be able to isolate with someone. So me and the good lady, we've hunkered down together, and that's been a real test for us, because up until that point, our relationship had been very much built on distance. Her in one part of the country, me in another, and we'd get together each weekend, spend a weekend at hers, a weekend at mine.
And you used to thrive at that, didn't you? Because I'd say to you, you'd be like, I like my own space. Do you know what I mean? It's how you work. So you've thrust yourself together.
It's been, and we talked about it, and this was just before the lockdown hardcore was announced, and we said, right, look, if this is going to happen, we need to make a decision. And I said, I'm coming down here. We're going to get through this together, and we will test the boundaries of our relationship and the metal of it. And we've been having a fabulous time. It's been amazing. And we'll cover off all the weird and wonderful things that we've all done. I'm sure the listeners as well. We've got a feature a little later on in the show where we're going to learn a little more about some of our community members and what they've been up to and how they've been coping with the lockdown. But very, very aware it's not been plain sailing for everybody. There's been some difficult times, and I don't think they're going to end anytime soon. My gut feeling is that I think things might get a little worse again. I'm very, very concerned about so when this first all kicked off, the message was crystal clear from the government. I knew exactly what I could and what I couldn't do. And went on that for weeks. And it just feels like over the last couple of weeks, the kind of message has got a little bit mixed. I mean, and things have happened which have led to me not having as much a belief in the government having a hold of it as originally thought, But I can happily say that having driven an hour to your house, my eyesight's perfect. All right, so I'm glad I conducted that test. It would appear that is an acceptable thing to do. So yeah, all good, mate. And I'm sure it's at various points during the show we'll be revealing other things that we've gotten up to.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we are here. Can I just say, after we spoke on Thursday, we were trying to record and we failed. The prospect of actually coming to sit opposite you, just like we used to when it all began, that energized me so greatly, and I was just so looking forward to this, and it's just brilliant. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, although I'm not able to touch you. Just to be in the same space as you it's incredible. I'd be very curious to see how this show turns out.
It may be the last time there may be a good reason why we haven't done it in a few years. Well, I think that the last time we did any kind of a show in the presence of each other was also in the presence of a fantastic audience.
No, don't forget we did the home invasion.
We did do the home invasion. Yeah. We were in Sheffield recently.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So the last one we had Mr. Ford on.
When was that? I can't remember. I've slept since then.
Last year.
It was last year.
Yeah.
So maybe it was. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, it's been far too long.
Far too long.
Anyway, so what do we normally talk about? What we've been up to? So we kind of drifted into that space. Should we explore that a little more? I can tell you now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got loads of gaming to talk about.
You better believe it, fella.
Yeah. So hang in there. But in the meantime, any good TV? Seeing your way through the lockdown?
TV wise, no. So I was watching Picard, and then Do you remember that? Do you remember back in the day when episodes of Star Trek were like a self-contained story with a start, middle, and end? Yeah. And that's what I kind of want from a Star Trek. I don't need to be looking and wondering why old Captain Picard's going around antagonizing. Not Romulans. Yeah, Romulans for no apparent reason. I fell off that. I couldn't finish it.
Oh,
no.
Wow, okay.
Did you see it through?
Yeah, I saw it all the way through. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, happy with the Riker and the
yes,
and
more than happy.
Marina
Sirtis, yes, yeah. So Riker and Troy still together, and we've got a bit of 7 and 9 action.
Yeah, never did Voyager.
It was great. It was great to see him coming back. And I understand there's a second season.
Are there really?
It's already in the pipeline, or something's going on with it. But I look forward to seeing some more outlying characters. Maybe we'll get Wes Crusher back.
Well, I mean, we had Hugh. Well, who else would you like to see? How about the Traveller? The Traveller could come back again.
Yeah. Q. We've got to get Q back in some way, shape or form, haven't we? John DeLance is still alive, so we need to get Q back.
I mean, what else is he doing? From a TV, that's about it from the telly. I watch a couple of movies.
Yeah.
So I finally got a chance to watch what's it called now? Jane Silent Bob Reboot.
Oh yes, I saw. Well, how was that?
Well, the interesting thing was I watched Strike Back a couple of days beforehand, and that's now is it 20 years old now? Pushing? Yeah, I think it is 20 years old. And I think that actually held up better than the reboot. I know that part of the reboot is the joke is at the fact that everybody's rebooting everything, and for him he's just telling the same story again. And it felt like it was the same story again. I guess I needed it in my lexicon of movies just to sort of bookend that, I suppose, that universe. But I don't know, it was all right. It was all right. They're just getting on a bit now, I think. And I think when you're doing the stoner fart jokes in your late 40s, it just feels a bit, I wouldn't say desperate. Maybe it's sort of what they do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Top people in their 40s still doing knob gags.
Well, who'd be doing that? Who'd be silly enough? I tell you what else I did watch that was a cracker, and I've been meaning to watch it for hours. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, saw it at cinema. Corker of a film.
No, I wasn't all that aware of what happened in that world. So I'm like, look, you could put Margot Robbie in anything, I'll watch the hell out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like Birds of Prey, that's a great film. Popcorn film all day long. So I wasn't quite, although I was aware that those killings happened, I didn't realise that was her necessarily. So there was some of the tension was maybe lost on me somewhat. But I just love the fact that it was the Manson people?
Yeah.
Family?
Yeah.
They were kind of portrayed to be a bit kind of idiotic and a bit kind of slapstick and stupid in their methods. And the fairy tale element is the fact that they went to the wrong house, and there's what's his name now, the actor?
Brad Pitt.
No, well, yeah, Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
It just turned into the most over the top, very Tarantino violence.
Yes,
but in a way that I could just this is brilliant. Yeah. This is brilliant. I have no qualms whatsoever in seeing any of this happen to these evil people. And then, of course, the wife then sort of educated me about what did happen. I was like, shit, man, that was brutal.
Yeah.
So if anything, the brutality put on them in this fairy tale was actually, that's fine. That's fine. I can dig that. And the other thing that I watched is on my radar for a while. It's kind of, it looks like a video game. It's Alita Battle Angel.
Oh yeah.
Kind of futuristic-y.
Yeah, CGI.
Very CGI.
Big eyes.
Yeah, a bit like that Sony advert back in the day with that Scottish lass. Yeah. That was all right. That was a bit of a romp. Very stylish, visually engaging. Worth a watch. What about yourself, other than the Picard?
Yeah, the Picard.
Did you do all the what was the Netflix thing that everyone dropped on? The Tiger King.
Tiger King. Yeah.
Is that worth a shot?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the wives watched it, but I don't know.
No, you should watch it. You should turn your brain off, and you'll watch the first episode and go, "That's fucking ridiculous," and it just gets wilder and wilder. No, it does bear watching. Again, just part of that lexicon of saying, "Yeah, I was there." A lot of it's all about being in the zeitgeist, I think, with the Tiger King, but it still needs to be watched for sure. What else? A lot of kind of British TV thrillers, dramas. I couldn't name half of them, but the missus likes them, and I enjoy watching them. I normally come in after like half the first episode, and I'm like, "Who's this clown? What's he up to? Why is she doing that? Who are they? How are they?" I'm the worst person to come in halfway through, and I should watch these things from the beginning with her. It does make for far more acceptable level of interaction. However, what else? Gardener's World. Okay.
Monty Don.
Monty Don, yeah.
Yep.
Monty Don. He's a good lad, isn't he? He likes getting his hands dirty.
Hey, he lost his dog recently.
He did. Very sad.
Yeah, we've been watching a bit of that.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the things. I've not really been watching that much television because, particularly at the early part of the lockdown, the weather was so beautiful. And my good lady's got a really, really nice garden, and she spends so much time, dedicates herself to it, and she doesn't realise how good that garden is. We've had people, we've been flogging things on the odd bit on Facebook and eBay and stuff. People come around to pick stuff up, and every time somebody walks in, they go, "Wow, the garden's amazing," and she's always like, "Really?" I'm like, yeah, I'll keep telling you this, girl. You do good stuff with your garden.
Has that garden rudely reclaimed the rest of the house yet?
Oh, mate, it's fucked. It's so fucked.
The neighbours must fucking despise
you.
You.
It's so fucked, But there you go. But now I've got this garden which is really nice, and I want to help keep it that way. So I kind of take care of. I've done some lighting things with it, which has helped.
Solar stuff.
Some solar activity going on. I've also introduced a little microcosm of a pond. So it's basically a massive, huge, probably a 60 to 80 litre planter that I filled with water and put some plants in it for a month, and then we introduced a couple of goldfish.
Oh, wicked!
So I've got a proper pump filter. This pump filter, it's got one of these UV things, all the water passes through it, just kills all the algae. But it's designed to deal with a pond up to 2,000 litres.
That sounds like a lot.
And it's just saying this thing that's 80 litres. So obviously you can dial things back, but these guys live in the cleanest water you could ever wish for. So they've been really nice. A nice bit of therapy, just adds to the whole chilled vibe that I feel in that garden. It really, really is nice.
I've seen your Twitters. You enjoy the fire pit, and you enjoy documenting wasps / and or bees fucking.
That was incredible.
It was. If you don't follow down, he just posted. Well, if literally he posted it, and then he uploaded it to YouTube for full 4K goodness.
Of course, yes.
It's like you were lying down with them while they're having their bits together. I've never seen them that close up doing their thing. Put me to shame.
And the sounds. It was like. You could actually hear him at the vinegars. He was.
And I think the good lady of yours went. Oh, is he buckled off now? What's she going to do? And you're like, she's going to finish herself up, isn't she?
Of course. Standard. Yeah, so enjoying the outdoors, enjoying the garden, enjoying cooking, as many people have kind of been forced into, because we didn't have fast food, didn't have chippies, didn't have the bab shops. Obviously there were still certain things that were delivering, so I've been kind of leaning into the Uber Eats, Deliveroo thing. But by and large, it's all, we'd sit there at the weekend, do all the shopping, because there'd be one big shop a week. That'd be my trip out.
Ooh.
Okay, that'd get me outside, and we'd do a big shopping list, and we'd plan the meals for the week, and we'd change it up, and we'd explore, and we'd try new things. It's been fantastic.
Yeah,
becoming a bit of an artisan chef.
I'd
say so myself.
You got a slow cooker on the go?
Yeah, we use that once or twice, but I'm all about the Dutch oven. Mrs. got a Dutch oven which she hardly ever used, and then she pulled it out, and I went, "What's that?" She has this Dutch oven. Said, "Right, I'm having a go with that," and it's just ace. It's brilliant.
What's a Dutch oven?
So it's a real heavy cast, large pot, that's got a lid, a very heavy lid, which it's all oven proof. So you can cook on the hob, you can cook in the oven, and it's just a massive space. I can fry off chicken in there, take it out, put something else in, add the chicken back in. I've cooked curries in there. I've cooked whatever, all the things. It's a versatile piece of kit that I can't imagine living without now.
Sounds like I need one of those in my life.
Yeah. Because I always anybody ever said to me Dutch oven, that's just like when you fart under the covers and pull it over, somebody's head.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Dutch oven's actually a really good thing.
Is a Dutch rudder a thing?
Yes, it is, Matthew. I still don't think we're allowed to do the Dutch rudder because there is still contact between us. But, baby steps and all that. Maybe next time.
One can only hope. Oh.
Yeah. So, just enjoying life. I'm sure there's other things.
Oh, I'll tell you something that happened to me. It was a couple of weeks into the lockdown. I think I'd only been out maybe once or twice for shopping, and I was still very sort of just the constant idea of anything at the bottom of my driveway was just like negative space and didn't want to be there. And it was a Tuesday or so, about 5:30, and I was banging on the door, real frantic banging. And I can hear the wife having a conversation with someone, and I was trying to parse what was going on, and I couldn't quite put it together. So I came out, and there's a lady there from the AA in a big yellow van, and she says, she was saying something about a dog. She said, Black Labrador, down on the dual carriageway. I'm like, well, mine's here. And I thought, I reckon I know whose that is, because there's a field behind us that all of a sudden all these people have started to use, even though they haven't got the permission.
Yeah.
And there was one lady with a Black Labrador. I thought, I bet it was hers. So I was like, right, straight to work. This is what we do, Matty. It's like, right, grab some treats, get your shoes on, get your...
dog rescue.
Yeah, get a lead around my shoulders. And I jumped into the car. And I got halfway up the road, and she'd pulled in again, and she'd started jumping over fences. So I followed her. Me and this AA lady ended up sort of going down the embankment to the dual carriageway.
Yeah.
Where a police car turned up.
Yeah. And
I'm worried because everyone's looking at me because I'm the one with the dog lead around my around my shoulders. People thinking, oh, this is the idiot who's lost his fucking dog. It turned out, thankfully, by the time I'd said to them all, look, we ain't going to find this dog here. I'll go and have another look, and we'll call this lady who we've bumped into. Yeah. The wife calls and goes, no, it's all sorted. I spoke to them. They had no idea that the dog had run away for a little bit, let alone how much commotion this dog had caused. I was like, right, well, I'm gonna get off then. They said, well, do you want to lift back? I was like, ooh, social stuff. And then, because it was two coppers and an AA lady, they were like, well, no, we've all been tested. I'm like, I'll get in. I'll get in the back of a police car for the first time. So I'm sat there, and we pull up to where both of our vehicles are, and I try to open the door, and he goes, no, so it's a child lock, isn't it? No, it's not a child lock, it's a criminal lock. it's a baddie lock.
Yes, it is.
So that was a bit interesting. That was like a bit of excitement, and yeah, first time in the back of a police car. For all good reasons.
Yeah, for all the good reasons.
For all the good reasons, yeah.
Did you find yourself, though, imagining how you would feel if you had been doing the bad stuff?
I would be frantically thinking of an alibi, and it might involve you.
Did you look around, see if there was any bloodstains or anything on any of the seats or the floor?
It was very clean. Was it? It was very clean. The funny thing was, he said to the lady, he goes, what colour is your van? She was like, big yellow one. Well, big orange one, whatever the colour of the AA vans are, you numpty. That's about the only excitement that my life's had.
Yeah.
That's about it. Other than the pub down the road have started doing takeaway food.
Excellent.
So I have been down there twice, and I get 20% off NHS discount, which I'm pretty sure boils his piss. But F him, if you're going to advertise that on your website, I'm going to have it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, first time I've ever been here, and it just seemed quite a rural part of the world. In terms of like the major services, like sort of Just Eat, Deliveroo, and Uber Eats, is there anything on the app that, or is it all like, nah, sorry mate, you're just too far away from the world?
Well, we've got a couple of places in Whitney proper that have signed up to Just Eat, so you can get a couple of pizzas, dirty kebabs, Indian maybe. No, but you're right, there's not a lot around here. And I think you can understand now, when I hear like a chainsaw or something going off at night, maybe now's not the time to go and be brave and find out what's going on, Matty, because it's just very, very peculiar and, like I say, very rural around here. There's people with like 3 toes and 20 fingers.
Yeah. Have you got a shotgun?
No.
You should get one.
I thought about it, but no, because I would have an accident.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, thinking about it, probably best you don't.
No.
Good stuff. Well, I'm sure we've got. We'll drop a few other things into what we've been up to. They'll just naturally permeate into the conversation. How about we start talking about some video game related stuff? And I want you to go first because I'm very much aware that you're on the hot shit right now, and I'm very keen to know.
Okay.
About all things The Last of Us.
Part 2. Well,
yes.
we'll get to that. But firstly, E3 kind of didn't happen, but kind of did happen.
Okay, yeah. Talk to me about that.
Well,
anything exciting?
So the only thing that I didn't tune in for, but I watched it. I played catch up. No, tell a lie. I did watch it in real time. Dave Southall, I think, set up a watch party on Facebook. Never done them before. They're quite fun.
Yeah.
Everyone's watching the same stream at the same time, and you're just all chatting and shooting the breeze.
So is it all type?
Yeah,
text
it's
chat?
all text based, and I think.
Fuck me, that's a huge plane. Is that?
RVF Bryce Norton down the road. You would not believe
okay.
and also more so lately than ever, do you see some big old transport things
Sorry,
coming
people,
in.
that doesn't translate to radio very well, but this massive fucking bombers just come into view from behind Matthew's head, and I just thought, what's going on?
You'll hear them at some point, and they may end up on the show because they are very fucking noisy.
Very nice, okay.
So yeah, watch party. We were watching the PlayStation 5 reveal and an announcement. So it was all but price. So we got a lot of teasers of games. We'd obviously already seen the controller. I was hoping to see the OS. Didn't see any of that, but we did see the box at the end, which is certainly a design choice.
Yes.
For me, it kind of solidified where I already was when it comes to my need to get one, particularly day one, or even any kind of big new purchase. Really, is that there's one more swan song for the PlayStation 4 I can see in my world, which is The Last of Us Part 2, which I'm currently enjoying. It doesn't really get plugged in that much, so I do most of my gaming on the PC. I don't see the need for me to rush out with an Xbox because I've got the PC. And I'm sure at some point I might drop on probably just the discless version of the PlayStation. Obviously, I'm more than happy to pay that tax on the lazy. I did with The Last of Us Part 2 because I wanted to make sure that I had it day one. So yeah, PlayStation 5. I don't think the prices are out yet. But by all accounts, I think by the end of this year, there's going to be big, shiny new tech in people's houses. And hey, if you're going to get one day one, knock yourself out. Love it. Love what you play and play what you love, people.
Yes, absolutely.
That was pretty cool. So last time we spoke, I was just getting into Days Gone. I picked it up on the cheaps.
Yes.
So that's the motorcycle zombie game. And I finished it off. And not only did I finish it, I platinumed it.
Oh,
I was genuinely really enjoying it. And I remember telling you about the hordes and how you have to sort of fight with them and sort of kite them around areas and make sure you kite them past all them big red shiny things, because that's what they do when you shoot them. They're going to blow up, aren't they? But the more you play it, you get outfitted with more and more firepower that you actually have some stopping power. You can stand there with a horde coming at you and take away the first sort of 3 or 4 deep, 10 across coming towards you. It genuinely was a lot of fun. And it was the first time, I think, that I've gone down a Reddit rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. Because I was trying to find out how to get the last achievement. It wasn't quite a trophy, sorry. It wasn't spelled out very well. And there are some people who really get into that game and show off like how they can take out a horde without getting touched on the hardest difficulty.
Wow.
With all these things added on. And I still see, even just this week or last week, a lot of people asking whether they should pick it up because they do keep dropping it at a good price. And I'd say knock yourself out. I was tempted to stream some of it, sort of like non-story stuff, because obviously once the story's over, sure enough, you've got an open world to play with and lots of things to mop up. So I was going to go and do that, but time wasn't on my side. But no, go check that out.
Yeah,
check it out. It's an interesting one. It's different. It's an open world game. It's got a little bit different. There is a bit of a barrier for entry, I think, and a learning curve. But if you've got the inclination, go push yourself through.
Yeah,
enjoy yourself.
Keep an eye out for that one.
And I guess, well, I was doing that thing I was doing the Netflix thing, so I was like, there's too much content sometimes on the Xbox Ultimate Pass or whatever it is I'm on with the PC. But I did drop on a couple of things that are very unlike me. And I got myself deep in with a couple of platformers.
Yeah.
Which one was it I played? Ori
in the Blind Forest?
Second one.
Oh, the second one.
The Will of the Wisps. God damn it. That's some beautiful platforming right there.
Yeah.
Really stylish. I don't know if it's hand-drawn art or something, but it's absolutely beautiful to look at. It sounds great. It's challenging. It's rewarding. It's got just a real beautiful sort of a style to it. I probably played it for about 4 or 5 hours, pretty much non-stop.
Yeah.
Really, really, really enjoyed it. I didn't go back to it, but it's there. It's installed. It's always there for me. And then I picked up Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Which is, I think it's pretty much like Castlevania.
Yeah.
Amped up.
Okay.
So, yeah. Side-scrolling room to room, so you can look at your map in a big way and say, okay, I've now opened up a new... Okay, you got your double jump.
Yeah.
Or your air dash. You go to, I know, that means I can. So it's one of those games, but the amount of freedom in there for you to experiment with how you want to play that game was kind of crazy. It seemed like every single weapon that you can find can either be equipped as an active ability to attack with, or you can put it into a passive part of your build.
Right.
And yeah, again, I think I nailed that. I had a day off work, and I think I did about 8 hours in one sitting, just loving it, absolutely loving it. I did finish it, and then I did some digging. I was like, oh, hang on a minute. So that's just the first ending. There's lots of endings for this. So then I was like, oh, hang on a minute. I've just found the ability to go through water. And then I thought, you know what? I don't think I can. I don't think I can keep doing this just now. But again, it's on there, so I may go back to it. And one last thing before we jump into The Last of Us Part 2 is something that wasn't on my radar up until about a week before it was released was Command & Conquer Remastered. Ooh. So 25 years after the very first Command & Conquer. So I think that the package is you get Command & Conquer with the 2 add-ons, I think, and then a bunch of console-specific levels. And then you also get Red Alert,
sure,
again with all the DLC and the add-ons. Now, I never played Red Alert very well. I always preferred the sort of Tiberium universe compared to the Red Alert universe. So I've not touched that yet, but I have completed both the GDI and the Brotherhood of Nod campaigns for Command & Conquer. And oh my God, as a way of sort of talking about like a time capsule of going back. I mean, it even has a fake install at the very start, which is just a movie that I accidentally hit the button and finished and didn't watch all. But that's just the installer going through it at the pace it would have done on your old Pentium 2, maybe 25 years ago.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But as soon as that music kicked in, oh my God. Now, what I will say is RTS games have come a long way in 25 years. A long way in 25 years. I don't even think, and I did go through the options to find out, I don't even think I was able to choose what's the word for this now? So you've got your barracks and you're churning out your troops. You could usually right-click somewhere to say this is where they all go to when they spawn out. I don't even think it has that. It doesn't even have that.
Wow.
The AI is a bit kind of like pathfinding can be a bit awkward sometimes, and then even the AI, like a bastard, sometimes can just throw its harvester into the corner of a map at the end, and you've got to go around for ages trying to find this final troop that's hiding somewhere before it'll finally come and say, right, like, you've now completed this mission. Let's go on to the next. And it has that great thing where you can just hit the spacebar at any point to switch between the upgraded view of the world and then what it looked like there and then. It's so weird doing that. I don't remember it looking that bad.
Oh, so it's sort of one button toggle between
100%.
new world and retro world.
And as soon as I clicked into it, I was like, I kind of remember it looking like this, but they've done such a good job on it. I think it was something that Jeff Gersman from Giant Bomb said is that the people who worked on that are the people who really liked that game.
Yeah.
And wanted to do the best they did. They'd up-resed some of the full motion video.
Right, okay.
And there's a bunch of bonuses on there that I'm unlocking as you do each level, so you can watch the actual original takes.
Oh, fantastic.
And really see how, I mean, it looks cheap now, but again, 25 years is a long time.
Have they reused the original FMV?
Yeah, they've kind of resed it somehow. I don't know if they were able to find the original actual cuts. I think they took them from the console versions, which I think may have already had a little bit of improvement from the original DOS version. But yeah, they've also updated all the multiplayer. I had one multiplayer game and then realised, you know what, if you're not building, you're losing. If you're not building, Matthew, you're actively losing. I GG'd him in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Cheers. Yeah. Thanks for the ass whipping.
Yeah. But then, The Last of Us Part 2 was released on Friday. Like I said, I got the digital version, so I think it was 79 gig, which didn't feel too bad.
Okay.
Got all that downloaded. It was the first time I've seen that screen where it goes like, this will unlock in 1 day, in 6 hours. I'm like, that's midnight on Thursday. It's fucking midnight, that is. Can't do that. Must wait until Friday. Now, it's been a long time since I've played The Last of Us. I did enjoy it, and I did finish it off. That's it. So I didn't get it on the PlayStation 3. I got that definitive version, the up-resed version on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Which came with, I think it's The Last of Us. Left Behind.
Correct, yeah.
Was the DLC. So I played that, but I didn't finish it off. So that's where I got to. So I found a real decent sort of like 6 minutes of here's what happened. Here are all the big story beats you need to remember going into The Last of Us 2. So me and the good lady watched that. She's very keen to enjoy this one with me because she did the previous, which is, I guess it's a double-edged sword, that one is. It's great because it means I get to use the big telly and we get to enjoy it together. But it does mean when I get up at 7:30 on a Saturday morning and I've walked the dogs and I've had a shit and I'm on my second coffee and I may have had a wank, and all I want to do is start...
Wake her up.
Really, probably should have woken up before I had a wank.
I've spilled coffee on you. I've covered you in jizz. Why don't you just get up so I can play more Last of Us, please?
I'd say we're maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 hours into it. And I was loving the hell out of it yesterday. Absolutely loving the hell out of it. It's I don't know. I guess it's more of the same. It's what you've come to expect, I suppose. Sure. It's continuing the story of Ellie and Joel with a 4-year cut, 4-year jump. Again, I'm once again very glad I watched that previously on to remember some of them big.
Yeah.
Particularly the lie that Joel tells Ellie at the very end.
Is that a baked into the software, or have you had to go onto the internet to see?
Oh, that was a YouTube gig.
Right. Okay.
That was a YouTube gig. Incredibly polished, as you'd expect from Naughty Dog. The performances always outstanding. The lady who does the voice acting for Ellie, she sells every single emotion that poor girl goes through.
Yeah.
It feels like the combat's been a little bit refined since the first one. I mean, gunplay's never really been Naughty Dog's. It's not what I don't go to an Uncharted game for the shooty. You go there for the action and the set pieces and the spectacle of everything. It feels a little bit better. I feel a little bit more comfortable with some of the gunplay. I forever feel outmatched, and I think that's probably by design.
Sure.
So, as always, you are on the back foot in most situations, and you need to spend as much time as you can sort of restocking between encounters. But I got to a first point where I was in a kill room, if you like, with humans who weren't my friends and infected, who absolutely aren't my friends.
No.
So although it took me about 6 attempts maybe to get through it, each time what I enjoyed doing the most was just doing something different as a way to get them fighting each other.
That's the route to success, isn't it?
It is. And what kept, where I kept tripping up was the fact that I wasn't expecting the human AI to react as quickly and as dynamically as it did. I kind of thought that they just all just stay in their places and quietly get overrun. No, these guys were fucking moving. And guess what? They found the best place for them to go and hide was exactly where I was. So it turned into a bit of a three-way melee. What else can I say about it? I can say that I know there's a lot of talk about the accessibility options. Now, I think at the start, I think the only thing it sort of showed me was, I don't know, how much do you want to see subtitles and what colour do you want the text to be, and do you want there to be a background on those texts so it'll stand out a bit more. I saw a video,
which I guess for you is quite important.
I've never struggled too much with that. I mean, I don't know. I know there are different levels of colourblindness. I don't know which one mine is. I mean, I don't struggle with this one in any way whatsoever.
Right.
What I will say is that, and this was very difficult when you make a game like this, where there's nothing worse than not knowing where to go next. And there, again, within the accessibility options, you can have it so that if you want, it will literally point you to where you need to go to. A bit like I think Fable was the first game I saw, Fable 2, where it would just give you that little breadcrumb trail of where you need to go. They've done a fantastic job 9 times out of 10 with your AI counterpart who's with you, telling you where you need to be. So I was running around going, where the hell am I going? Where the hell am I going? And then she was running towards me and went, what's that up there? And was pointing. I'm like, thank you. I don't necessarily...
Look at that, dumbass. That's where you need to go next.
Yeah. I don't necessarily always need it to be like a big flashing thing, but I also don't want to be essentially pixel hunting for it.
Of course, yeah.
So again, 9 times out of 10, the game wants you to continue. It doesn't want you to get stuck and to fall off it, because it is very much I think I saw somebody being slightly disparaging about it, saying, oh yeah, enjoy your interactive movie. Well, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Fuck yeah, I will do. Then I'll go and play Dragon's Lair.
It's my money. I've spent it. I'll enjoy this game whichever way I fucking want.
Yeah. There's no multiplayer in this.
Okay.
There was in the first one, which had some interesting ideas around it. But again, they went to the effort of putting it into all the Uncharted ones, but I don't think that was really the big draw. It was always a nice to have just to extend the game, I suppose. Yeah. But I mean, this has got plenty of difficulty levels. I went for medium.
Yeah.
Stick to the default.
Can you switch it on the fly?
I believe you can switch it on the fly. Right, yeah, but if you put it on hard, the moment you put it down to medium, you never go back.
That's what they say, isn't it?
Once you dropped at medium. But yeah, that's been my gaming. I've been playing some stuff on the phone, but I'm not going to go into it today. I mean, I've been playing the same game for about 3 or 4 months.
Okay, it's not Wiz Khalifa, is it?
No. Oh my god, I downloaded Adventure Capitalist.
Okay.
And then I spent almost an entire day playing it and then deleted it.
Yeah.
I thought, don't need this.
Yeah, self-intervention. Proud of you, my man.
Yeah, just pop in there, make sure. Yep, numbers still go up.
Yeah.
Happy days. Happy days. But that's about all the gaming I think I've got in me to talk about. I'm just double checking, doing a last sort of a mental... still doing Gears and Beers every now and again.
Sure.
It's still great to have the same old faces and new faces, just loving it, getting incredibly drunk and very late and very wild. And there are still some people who are far too good at that game for their own good. And also there's no such thing as host advantage anymore because the internet's so good.
Yeah.
And net code's better. You can't blame it other than yourself.
Which is the way it should be.
Yeah, I'm still rocking a 360 controller when I play that.
Yeah.
So all my PC gaming, if it's controller based, I've just got that plugged in. It's fucking brilliant. One of my favourite controllers, that is.
No, I've got one in my laptop bag.
Just in case.
Yeah, I have got a gaming laptop that I do bust out from time to time. Although it hasn't seen any action for a good couple of years, but I've been doing some video gaming.
I know you've been doing some video gaming.
I got a Switch.
I know you got a Switch, you little bastard.
Got a Switch. I tell you what, this this continues my curious love affair with Nintendo. I've always been the guy that I'm not necessarily always been there day one. Never been a day one pickup. There's probably a few exceptions in there. I think the GameCube was a day one pickup for me. But all major Nintendo consoles, I've owned them at some point. And it was now the Switch's turn. I couldn't even tell you how old it is now, but we're on a second iteration of the main hardware. They've refined a couple of things. They've massively improved the battery. So I was ready to dive in, and it was lockdown, and I thought, right, I need something to get me through this, because even though I never played my Xbox One on my PS4, I feel naked without a console in my life. And you just see so many good things being said about the Switch over the years, and then of course Animal Crossing happened, and everyone's talking about Animal Crossing. I thought, I need to understand what's going on here. So got my Switch, and I love it. I do. I love it. I think it's a really, really cool bit of kit, and I think I kind of tuned out to it when it first came out. I just thought, well, it's probably not for me. It sounds like it's a bit like it's half a console and half a handhold, but the reality is it's actually the best of both worlds in so many ways. This is the heavy caveat. Okay, you're never gonna have the ultra awesome graphics that you're gonna see on the latest gen consoles, But I tell you what, they're pretty damn close. And unless you're sort of counting frame rate and counting pixels, you're still getting a really, really good experience.
And even if it is the only way you have to play games, you can still play Skyrim. You can still play Witcher 3 if you so wish.
Sure.
And if you have other solutions, you probably will do it that way. But the fact that they make the effort to do that, fair play.
Yeah.
On these third-party games.
And it ticked a couple of really important boxes for me, because obviously as I'm not in my own home, I don't have that freedom to say, right, I'm getting a big fucking console and stick it under the telly, because somebody might have a word with me and go, hang on a minute, that looks shit and it's not what I'm into. Okay, fair enough. But when you get the Switch, you've got this little dock that is about the size of an A5 book, and that just sits innocuously under your TV. The good lady even said, "Is that it? Is that all that goes under the telly?" I said, "Yeah." She says, "That's perfect." Perfect. So I got the thumbs up from the good lady. I am predominantly 99% handheld mode anyway. I can sit in the garden, enjoying, relaxing, enjoying the outdoors, play on my Switch. Go to bed, play on my Switch. I love that portability. I really, really do. But the time I have spent with it on the big screen looks awesome. Looks great. One of the first things I did was, and this is kind of a callback to old Darren and how old Darren used to roll. So first thing I downloaded, Uno. Yeah, Uno, fucking great. And I've still got it. I'm still the guy. I'm still the guy. Thankfully there's no dodgy 256 colour VGA images of people at 10 frames a second masturbating. All that stuff's gone now. There's no voice chat. It's all emotes now. It's all totes emotes by all accounts. But you can play
online with other people.
Yeah, you play online with other people. There's there's a few variants. There's Uno. I can't remember what it's called now. Uno something or other. Which is the cards are double sided. Uno Flip. That's the one. That prompted me to go and buy a physical copy of Uno Flip. And I went down a bit of an Uno rabbit hole. So I've got standard Uno, I've got Uno Flip, I've got DOS, which is kind of like the sequel to Uno. I've got a water.
As in two.
Yes.
That's clever.
Yeah. And you say DOS when you've got two cards left.
As opposed to Uno 2. Uno Part 2.
Yeah, so I've now got physically Uno Flip, DOS. I've got a waterproof version of Uno, so all the cards are kind of plastic laminate.
Is that not to play in the bath?
Or play on the beach. That'll be my take on holiday gig, because Mrs. enjoys a bit of Uno, which is great. And then I went down a really curious rabbit hole of buying retro things. So there's like variants of Uno or Uno products that have been released over the years that still maintain the core element of Uno, but there's a little bit of a bit of an electronic thing to it. So I've got an Uno thing where I slam a button, and you've got a timer, so you've got to play quickly. So you'll play your card, and then you'll hit the button, and then it's down to the next person. And if the alarm goes off, then you pay a penalty. Crazy rabbit hole. And I'm sorry I digressed into
Uno
physical world, but I was all about the Uno because that's how I was years ago. That's all I would play, and I'm still enjoying it now. Downloaded some other things because I tell you what, with the Nintendo eShop, they have some really good sales. Like there's always stuff being marked down, and it's a bit of a crap shoot, to be honest, because there's a lot of shit on there. It's not as curated as I would like it in terms of the quality of the stuff that's there, but by and large, you're looking at good stuff. I don't like the fact that there isn't any built-in reviews. I can see the reasoning behind that, because one of the things I do like is when you're shopping on Steam or you're shopping on most other sites, you'll see a title and you can jump directly to what people think of it. To give you a kind of an idea of whether you should be buying it or not. This doesn't exist on the Switch. So basically you see something, you go, oh, it's 90% off, that looks good. And then I have to go onto YouTube to see a video review of it and get the skin in, get the lowdown. But I'm kind of accustomed to that now. But I bought a load of what people would probably say was shit games, but I really, when you first get a console, you just buy everything. So I bought Monopoly. I bought Monopoly because board games and because Monopoly. Bought Trivial Pursuit. I think Mario and Rabbids was cheap at the time, so I've downloaded that. So all the really good games that I've got, I'm probably not playing them as much because I'm still playing Uno and I'm loving Picross. Picross has always been a favourite game of mine. So I've got Picross 1, 2 and 3. I've played through all of those. I'm now playing sort of like an interactive... It's almost like Picross meets... sort of like a Japanese detective adventure game. So there's a murder that's happened, and you've got this little electronic sidekick who helps you out, and he's scanning the room for clues, and the way you solve clues is by solving the Picross puzzles. It's very Japanese, but the translation's really good. I'm enjoying that. What else have I bought back from old Darren? Yeah, so I got there's loads of really good JRPGs available on the Switch. So I picked up Tales of Vesperia, which is kind of like the ultimate complete edition, which was originally available on the 360, and at the time that was like rocking all shit. It was really hard to get hold of, so I was really pleased to be able to pick that up at a good price as well. And I think that was the first game I made sure I played on a big screen. And it's gorgeous. It's an beautiful looking game. And I played that solidly for a couple of hours. No, I've not played it since. Because that's how I roll with JRPGs.
Of course, can I ask you some questions about the Switch as a device to own?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so do you have the Nintendo subscription gig?
The online pass,
yeah,
pick that up from CD Keys for £15 for 12 months.
So, and does that rotate in and out sort of classics, all Nintendo shit?
Yeah, so you get access to all of the all of the old sort of SNES or whatever libraries available currently. They're adding to it on a continual basis. So the NES, the Super Nintendo, there's some on basically anything that you can play online against other people or with other people is all included in that. In that online subscription, okay. So I'm good.
And are you choosing a name or you've been given a code? Because I seem to remember that in the Wii days at least, it wasn't as fully featured. No,
there's friend codes. So interestingly, I mean obviously I'm Uncle Fister. That's my main Nintendo handle, but I selected a nickname when I booted up the Switch for the first time, and it kind of carries that through into my online gameplay as well. So you'll see my homegrown nickname that I've applied to the Switch when I'm playing Uno against other people. So they're not seeing Uncle Fister, they're seeing Bear.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm the Bear.
True.
Yeah. Those boys know.
Them cubs know.
Yeah. You can keep your otters. You want a bear.
OS, is it snappy? Is it good?
Yeah.
It's got. I saw those YouTube icons, so it's got video stuff.
Yeah,
on
yeah. Go
Netflix.
do all the YouTubes. No, I don't think it. No, I don't think it does. It does Netflix, but I've got Netflix on every single other device, so I'm not really losing any sleep over not being able to access Netflix on that. No, it's responsive, it's snappy, and I've bought it to show you, so I've kind of taken you through how it looks when it comes naked out of the box, all the little things you can add, and how I've kind of protected it, put a screen protector on it, and then there's the case you can put it into, and then obviously the Hori sticks, which make it like feel like a proper controller, which is absolutely essential for if you're using it predominantly in handheld mode. It does make a world of difference. But I love the versatility of being able to unhook the standard controllers and hand them out to people and have multiplayer games. I mean, we had a stab at Trivial Pursuit, probably not the best game to show off the capabilities of that device, but I'll just be able to show you, just putting the screen up on the kickstand, me and you, controller in your hand, controller in my hand, we're playing together side by side. At a 2 metre distance. Obvs, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you saw me having a bit of a financial meltdown almost in one of our private chats. I was like, I want one. And I think even Neil was like, don't worry about the fear of missing out, fella. And then I remembered that,
yeah, and then an hour later, I saw him pop online, Neil's playing Animal Crossing.
Again.
Yeah, again. Because you add all your friends through friend codes, etc. But every time, I'm sure you can switch this on and off. But I'm always curious to see what other people are playing. But the amount of people that are coming on, because I think Animal Crossing is one of those games where you've got to do your dailies. There's daily stuff, there's maintenance, and there's bells, and there's apparently turnips are big.
Apparently turnips are big at certain islands at certain parts of the day.
And the worst thing is, I actually have a physical copy of Animal Crossing, but I'm afraid to get into it. I'm afraid to fall down that rabbit hole, because it sounds like it could be a full-time job once it gets under your skin.
Have you done one before in the past?
No.
I mean, are they like Stardew Valley? Are they like, are you farming? I don't get it.
I'd love to be able to tell you. Part of me doesn't want to know. So I own this game that I really want to play to see what all the fuss is about, but I don't want to play it because I don't want to fall down that rabbit hole. There's too much other good stuff going on in my life right now, which obviously I'm sharing a house with somebody special, and I don't want to be that guy that says, I'm going to go and disappear for an hour or two while I play bloody Animal Crossing. It's bad enough I disappear for an hour or two to play, all my other stuff, But that comes back to us respecting that we've both got space that we enjoy. So just come watch a load of gardening stuff, or Real Housewives of Cheshire, which is a guilty pleasure.
Oh gosh.
Okay, it's out there in the world now. Have you ever seen that? No. Oh, it's fucking awful. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's the worst television ever. Oh. But like she said, it's a guilty pleasure. Wow. Just switch off and enjoy it. But no, back to the Switch. It's great. So you hook your payments up to you can hook it directly up to PayPal, and each time you go to buy a game, it'll say, right, how do you want to fund this? So you can opt to just put a bulk amount of money onto your Nintendo account, or you can select just fund enough to pay for this game. And each time you buy a game, you'll get these Nintendo coins back. It's like a little bit of a kickback, and you can use those to offset a future purchase, depending on how many coins you've got. So it's like a little reward system, which I'm quite open to.
Are you? Have you got any of the sort of Nintendo staples, your Zeldas and your Marios?
No, I mean, apart from Mario and Rabbids, which is kind of an official thing. I haven't really got anything else. I've not really got hold of any of the big hitters as of yet. I'm still enjoying the stuff that I've always enjoyed. So it's a bit of a renaissance and a reconnection with stuff that I've enjoyed over my gaming life. So it's all Picross, it's all Uno, and I'm kind of starting to dip my toe into other things. I picked up a roguelite the other day, which I've not really played much of, called For the King. So I'm looking forward to getting my teeth into that. I downloaded a match 3 game, which is very much around you go and play it daily, and it's really good actually. That's called Gems of War. I've always been about the match 3 and match 3 that. There's so many different things going on with this game. I could probably devote a 45-minute session to Gems of War, and you and I will both be left none the wiser of what the fuck is going on. But there's a deep meta game going on underneath. You're joining guilds. You're leveling this. You're leveling that. You're earning this kind of thing that you can spend on a certain thing, but you can also spend something else on this other kind of thing. There's so many different currencies. It's quite it's a bit of an obstacle to overcome, and I've still not overcome it. I just enjoy the match 3 side of things. It's really cool. I should get back to playing that a bit more actually.
So with the hardware, onboard storage?
Yeah, I think I got a 512 gig SD card, micro SD card, 512 meg, no, 512 gig. I don't know where I am anymore with my gigs and my megs. Big storage I've got. I think the built-in is like 32 gig.
That's insane.
How far have we come? Do you remember? I remember my first memory card was sort of like 4 meg, and I thought, oh, that's really good. Can't believe you can store 4 meg or 32 meg. Oh, 32 meg, that's fucking massive. Getting old, mate.
I know.
Getting old. But so basically you get your standard built-in storage, which is probably going to be good for a couple of installs. But you can expand it. Not like Sony, where you had to buy their proprietary memory. It's just a micro SD card. So just get a decent one like a Kingston or a Samsung, and from a reputable retailer, and you're golden. And you just slip that in, and it formats it for you.
Oh, right.
Easy,
does it read off it as quick as? It's all it's not. Yeah, it's all physical.
Yeah, as long as you get a decent card, it's perfect, mate.
Is there There's no talk about a Switch 2 anytime soon, is there? I'm pretty sure it'll do you for quite a while. And you obviously you're looking after it. You got a good case for it.
Got an excellent case for it. I had to buy another case for it when I got the Hori controllers, and it's actually I got it off Amazon. And if anybody wants to know where it is, just hit me up and I'll send you a link or something. But it's actually a case designed for something completely different. It's like for one of these sort of DJ knob twiddly little consoles that, obviously they're throwing mad shapes up for. I don't know how DJs work anymore. It's just knob twiddling now, isn't it? There's no skill. No, there's loads of skill in DJing. Trust me, I know.
Didn't you say that you ordered something and it came the same day?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's the future.
It is the future. I've smelt it. I obviously live in the right part of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all location based, isn't it? If you've got an Amazon depot which is round the corner from you and they support that kind of thing, yeah, let's just get it out and get it delivered.
You ever used one of those Amazon lockers?
Yeah. We've got one at work.
Wow.
But when we're going back into the office anytime soon.
No. How's your working from home? You got a nice setup?
I'm fine. I'm dual screening. It's perfect for me, mate.
We're built for this.
Absolutely.
Training.
Absolutely. We've spent our life indoors hating people, and now we can do it legitimately without being judged ill. So there you go. Yeah, Switch. Really, really, really enjoying it. I love it. It's a great bit of kit, and I'm glad it's in my life.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're finding. You're finding a device to enjoy digital love.
Again, my digital chops are back.
So you can sit there and play your Uno and your Monopoly and Trivial Pursuits.
Yeah. Yeah, and other things, and which I will obviously talk about on future shows.
Is there a Solitaire on there? A couple of Solitaire games?
Probably.
Is it Peggle on there?
No, I don't think so. I think there's plenty of single player games on there. I mean, what do you want from your Solitaire? Ask. If you just want some kind of bullshit Solitaire game, I'm sure you can pick one up for a couple of quid.
Yeah, sure you can. Sure you can.
There you go. That's all I can speak to on the video gaming front. How about we take a break? Because I tell you what, I'm parched. I could do with one of your nice coffees, and we'll leave you for a short while, ladies and gentlemen. We'll drop a chip tune in, and then when we come back, we'll talk about some more stuff. And we're back! Well. We did come together. Am I giving away too much? Well, here we are into the second section of this lockdown spectacular. So we would normally venture into the board gaming space. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the analog stuff, but don't disappear, ladies and gentlemen, because we do have another feature coming up later on in the show, which is the MLGQ. So stay tuned. We've got that on the horizon. There's a few things that I want to talk about from an analog perspective. So obviously, lockdown has forced us to be creative and potentially change things. So obviously, I'm not doing my weekly sit down with Darren anymore, which is which is regrettable. But we know that we're going to get that back at some point once the new normal returns. Although we may have to. I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe we'll start buying games that we can only play at a 2 meter distance. But there is, just on that, we've. As a gaming community, we've been forced to adapt and improvise and overcome, and it would appear that a lot of people are utilising Zoom or other online meeting software applications are available.
Are you still doing your D&D?
Yeah. So when we first started, we did the Rick and Morty one shot for D&D 5th edition, which was great fun. And we had so much fun. We agreed that we would roll proper D&D characters, and we're on a campaign at the moment. We're probably, I don't know, we've done about 4 or 5 sessions. So Todd's the GM. Then there's myself. There's Disco Beaver. There's Steve 08, as you'll know him, Steve Addicott. There's Rich Forder. Who else? Lee, Ancient Gamer. That's it. The famous five. This is the 5 of us. I haven't forgotten anybody, have I? Please. It's awful. But we're having a great time. We've all rolled our respective characters. I've rolled with a Dragonborn. Which is what I rolled with when we had that D&D session round at your house all those years ago. I thought, yeah, let's bring the Dragonborn back. It's great being able to put a background to your character, flesh it out, give it some life goals. It's really cool. Really cool, and enjoying the interaction. So we use Roll20, which is a platform of choice that a lot of people use to play remotely. It handles a lot of the dice rolling and the pulling in of data from D&D's database. So if you want to know how a certain spell works, you can just click a button and it'll put it on the screen for you. And if you want to share that with the group, you click another button.
It's a very powerful tool, that, isn't it? I've downloaded it and tinkered with it a time or two in the past, and it seems like a really feature-rich option.
It is. It's a bit clunky. I think you need to dedicate a bit of time to working out what you're doing. But once you've got a handle on it, it's a real elegant solution. I've got to say. We
Can I be a little bit pedantic and ask a question?
Of course you can.
You referred to God's Hand as a GM. Does Dungeons and Dragons refer to a GM as opposed to a DM, or is GM just a term that gets used?
They're all interlaced in my world. DM, GM, it's the same thing. It's the guy holding all the cards and hiding behind the screen and cackling as he rolls his dice and doesn't show anybody the results. It's all the same thing. But we try and play every week. But as often is the case, life can get in the way, and we're all kind of really cool with that, So there might be a couple of weeks where we don't play. But that kind of led me on to my next thing, which was, well, I'm actually quite enjoying this dungeoneering and this RPGing. What solutions are there out there for me on my own? I've obviously got plenty of board games, but I don't have access to all those board games at the moment, and sometimes. It might be just a case of I just want to whip something out and set it up very quickly, and there's got to be a solution out there. So I did a little bit of hunting, and in the past I've spoken about 4 Against Darkness, which is a great rule set. But I heard a few people talking about this one called D100 Dungeon. So I did a little more investigating. It sounded right up my alley because you create a character and you're going on quests and you have encounters and you're rolling on a lot of tables. I thought, that sounds really interesting. And there's a free version 2.2, which is available on Board Game Geek. And then I went on to Drive Through RPG, which is kind of your de facto primary source for all things rule book. Whether predominantly it's all PDFs, but occasionally they'll provide you with an option to print off a hard copy, whether that's hardback or paperback. So I opted for a paperback version of D100 Dungeon, paid them, and I think it was about 17 quid all told. So you're ordering from a site in the States, and for European distribution, they utilise a print company based in Milton Keynes, and it's literally it's on the same trading estate where my good lady works. So this hard copy of D100 Dungeon was ordered from an American site and printed a couple of miles away from where I'm living at the moment, and so that gets delivered pretty quickly. And so D100 Dungeon, what's it all about? I've kind of given you some broad strokes in the in the talk through there. You're going to roll a character. You're going to assign attributes. You are able to influence some of those attributes in certain ways. And you take this character, and it's a persistent one. It's a persistent character that you carry over from quest to quest. There's a whole load of quests within the base source book. And you start with your 5, your training quests, which you will go through in order, which will help familiarise yourself with the way the game flows, when to roll the dice, how to handle encounters, how to map out your dungeon, because part of every turn is you will be rolling a D100 and refer to your map chart to see what your next room looks like, and it may be empty, it may have monsters in it, it may have a locked door. And if it's a locked door, then you roll on the door table to see what kind of door it is. Is it magical? Is it activated by a lever? Is it actually you just turn the handle and it opens? There's so much variability. I can't imagine any 2 runs of this dungeon being exactly the same. Even with the encounters, you roll on a table. The things that you find, you roll on a table. All these tables, and are very well laid out in the book, that can be referred to very, very easily. And it encourages you, and you'll remember this from when you were a kid, Matt. We didn't have the great graphics and all the wonderful stuff that we're exposed to now. Even before, when we were doing pen and paper dungeoneering, it was all about the theatre of the mind, and it's brought all that back to me. And I will just sit there. I've sat in the patio on many a warm night with a light above me just so I can see, and I'll just sit out in the patio in the dark. Just playing D100 Dungeon and getting thoroughly invested in it, to the point where on the last run I did, I'd encountered I'd been ambushed by a band of tricksters, and I was just about to get into the combat, and I thought this is going to be a tough one because I rolled quite high on the dungeon, on the encounter tables. The higher the roll, the more difficult the monsters can be.
I think the Golden Dragon is the hardest one I saw in there.
Yeah. So I'm getting ready to get into all this combat, and then my missus appears out of nowhere, out of the darkness, and I went, "Whoa!" I was that emotionally invested in something that I'm just mapping out on a lined paper grid, which is where the map is being drawn out, and I've got a character sheet. I've got a Google Doc actually that somebody created, so you manage a lot of your character through the electronic document. I mean, there's pen and paper, character sheets located within the book, and you can download and print them off. But I've got to say, I'm absolutely loving it, and I imagine when I'm playing it, I'm thinking this is the kind of system that you could use if you wanted to GM for one other person. And I'm thinking about introducing people to the concept of old school RPG tropes for maybe kids. You could GM a kid through this. And, get them to roll the character. You help them with the rolls. They can draw out the dungeon, get them invested. But use your experience as a long-term game player to be able to extrapolate and give a little bit of character to the description. I mean, some of the roles are quite descriptive on the encounters, but you can imagine out from the shadows comes this skeleton spider, and it's crawling up towards you. And right, okay, let's start rolling some dice, and let's see who kicks whose ass.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a quick flick through it as well. I know. I mean, rolling against tables is one of the best things in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're right. It's got one in there for all your different types of doors, for encounters. I'm guessing it's got things in there for loot and potential traps, all that sort of stuff. I also noticed that. So you've got your sort of quasi graph paper, if you like, that you're drawing on.
Yeah.
So you showed me that there is, each time you move to a new room, if you like, you do a roll and you look. It might be a right turn. It might be a room with 2 exits, etc., etc. But I noticed you started to add just a little bit of a flourish of environment to what you could just draw squares.
Yeah.
But I see that you just sort of like, probably as you just sort of sat there thinking much to nature, you're just sort of doodling around your, turning into a bit, bringing it to life a little bit more.
Absolutely, yeah. And we all like doodling. We've all doodled in the past, whether it's on conference calls or, when you were at school, you used to doodle all the time. So this is perfect for somebody, just to let your creativity flow. As long as you have the exit and the entrance that are designated by that role in the right place, you can do what the bloody hell you want,
I remember when I was looking through my older brother's Dungeons and Dragons books, or some of the campaigns you used to get.
Yeah.
So you'd have your Dungeon Master's Guide, your Player's Handbook, and your Monstrous Manual, and then you'd buy the modules, I suppose, which were the predetermined for certain level criteria players a full campaign. And I remember going through it, and I think this was a testament to his age at the time and the age of his friends and the type of world we were in at the time, where on one of the character sheets it said sex and someone wrote, "Yes, please." Some things never stop being funny.
No, they don't, my friend. No, they don't. And the other thing I love about this game is the sense of progression. So you've rolled your character to begin with, then you're doing your training missions, and you will loot. You will loot these monsters, and sometimes you'll just get body parts, which could be part of a quest that you're on. But sometimes you'll loot a better weapon than the one you've got, and you're like, oh, that's fucking nice. Oh, this one does +2 damage, and the other one didn't give me any plus damage. And different armor parts. So you've got gauntlets, you've got stuff for your shoulders, stuff for your torso, stuff for your legs, and even stuff that you put on your feet. Because when you're rolling for damage, you have to determine whereabouts either you're hitting or you're being hit. So if you're wearing armor, it reduces the overall damage taken. The other thing I like is how the skills progress. So every time you make a roll against a certain stat, if you roll 10 or less, you've actually kind of critically succeeded and actually developed that skill further. So you'll colour in a little pip along a track. It runs 10 pips along. As soon as you've coloured all 10 pips in, you can increase that stat by +5. So you'll get a +5 modifier to future rolls against that stat. It's it's very well written. It's great. And for a solo player, I think it's absolutely perfect. But I'll still come back to this, where I believe that you could, as soon as you're familiar with the rules, you could sit down with somebody and say, right, you and me, we're going to roll you a character and we're going to go on this journey together.
When it comes to solo play and character progression, so let's say that you've done the 5 sort of tutorials, which is what you said to me should be enough to gear your character up well enough to take on any of the other random adventures. Now, let's say that you're a couple of weeks into playing it and you've still got your first 2 and your first character, and you're very invested and you've started doodling what your armor looks like, all this sort of stuff. Now, when it comes to failing, from a mindset point of view, do you just say, right, no, that's fine, this character's dead, we're starting again?
Yeah, I have to. The interesting thing is you start with effectively 3 lives. So if ever your HP is reduced to 0, you can scratch off one of your lives, and that will restore you to full health and remove any statuses you've got. So if it's poison or disease, that all gets wiped out. So you've got enough chances to survive through this. But I resign myself to the fact that, at some point my character is going to die.
And is your character sheet held on that Google Doc you were talking about?
It is, yeah.
So is there, now how about this, or is this a bit too far? Whereas each time one of your characters dies, could you print out what your character sheet was at the time, maybe, and frame it, or have a collection of your deceased characters?
I don't see why not. You could transfer all that stuff onto one of the onto one of the character sheets if you so wished. God, there's even things I've not even gotten into. So you can own shares in things. There's a whole share system where you buy shares for gold, and then in between each dungeon run, there's certain things that you can do. So you can heal yourself. You can visit a shop to pick up essential items. You can roll on a table to see what armor or weapon you find at the armor smith or the weaponsmith. But you can also invest in stocks and shares, and the dice roll will determine in between dungeons how your shares perform, and you can draw money out and put money back in. It's not essential. You don't have to involve yourself in any of that. And to be honest, I'm not touching it right now. But as a future option, I could do that.
I suppose what's useful with this as well is that when the good lady creeps in from the darkness and scares the bejesus out of you, you can still just put that away there and then, can't you? Maybe just resolve whatever combat you're in.
Yeah, just make a note of where I'm at with things.
Yeah, do your final roll and then come back to it. No messing around with miniatures, no fucking about with desktops, something like that.
No, that's it. And we always think about, well, what's the sort of thing I could do when I'm on a train or when I'm on a plane? And you always think about the games that you get is, right, what's the portability of this? Could I just stick it in my briefcase or my man bag or whatever the accessory du jour is, and could I just whip it out on a train? Yes, I could, absolutely. I'd look like a fucking nerd, but I'd happily whip it out on a train, no problem at all. So that's D100 Dungeon. You can buy the PDF, you can pay to have it printed in hardback or softback, or you can go and download because the version I've got is the version 3, which is the latest rule set. Version 2.2 rules are available for free currently right now, so there's no cost to you whatsoever if you wanted to investigate and see if this is something that you'd enjoy. Get the 2.2 rules, have a little play. If you like it, buy version 3.
Oh, I just thought, have you got a redirect from any of your, what do they call them, Kickstarters, in case you forgot about something that's due and it's now redirecting to Milton?
No, I have redirected a few things, but I've had to go home and retrieve a few things as well. But again, sort of all within the right regulatory requirements. I don't encounter anybody. I get into my car, and I've only done it a couple of times because A, I want to make sure everything's okay and my house hasn't been burnt down or broken into, and B, from a medical perspective, I need to get back up to home occasionally just to get my repeat prescription. Now I know you can do things to have things delivered directly to your door, but I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to be without my medication if it all fucks up. Mm-hmm. So,
you still sleeping well?
Yeah, sleeping fine, man. Sleeping fine. I'm still feeling knackered a lot, but I think that's just it could be just a symptom of the situation we're in at the moment. I'm not afraid to say I'm not getting as much exercise as I should, and I need to endeavour to do more of that. I should be going out and walking every day like everybody else should.
Well, do you remember last time we spoke, I just started running again?
Yeah.
I gave that up straight away.
Did you?
I don't want to be that idiot. I'll twist my ankle or I'll end up needing services where if I just stayed at home in my safe place. So, I've put on so much weight. Not had my haircut since last year. Fucking hellfire. He'd saw something out.
Oh, you've seen my lockdown beard. It's awesome. I do get shit about this, though. I do need to sort it out. Okay, so that's D100 Dungeon sorted out. The other thing I want to talk about is a game called Dungeon Solitaire, Labyrinth of Souls. Now, this is an interesting one because it's a set of rules for a game which can be played using a set of cards. Now, the very, very basic version, which again you can get for free off Board Game Geek, I think it's called Dungeon Solitaire. Hang on a second. Let me have a look. It's called Tomb of the Four Kings, or Tomb of Four Kings. That's available for free, and you can play that with any standard set of playing cards, which I'm sure we've all got rattling around the home somewhere. And what this is, it's a again, using the theatre of the mind, it's a dungeon crawler. It's a bit of a push your luck type. I guess you could call it a roguelike, couldn't you? Because you don't know. It's going to be different each time you make that delve. So you've got your cards, and each round you encounter a challenge which you have to overcome, normally by following a challenge card that has a certain value. Let's say, for example, you've got a challenge with the value of 5. Say 5 of, I don't know, the 5 of something, which means it's a trapped chest. Your next card you play needs to be equal or higher than that card of value of 5 in order for you to overcome. But there's a whole load of other things going on there. We've got so you've got the basic rules, you've got the advanced rules and the expert rules. There's full campaigns. There's a deeper dungeon, full like mega dungeon they call it. But where this game really comes into its own is beyond the basic edition, and that requires you the use of a tarot deck. Now, I've had a tarot deck for some time, and I've always been on the lookout. So I'm sure there must be something that can be used with a tarot deck.
Yeah,
something can be done with it other than sort of divination. That led me down a rabbit hole the other day of trying to understand the history of tarot. So it was originally it was something. The common belief is that this came out of Italy, somewhere around the 14th century. I could be wrong. I might be a century out on that, but let's not split hairs. But it was originally played by. It was a game that was played by nobility. And they would actually commission special decks of cards to be made, and it was almost like a bit of a pissing contest to see who could make the most elaborate tarot deck. Obviously, time has gone on, and it's moved from a game of chance to a method of divination, and that's where it all gets a bit mystic and spooky, and that's where a lot of people go, oh, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Now, you came into my house, and you're like, well, as it happens, I've had a set of tarot cards for a long time. Now, this is from the person who loves any kind of conversation around ley lines or Reiki. Yet you have. Do you have a dream catcher?
No.
But you have tarot cards.
No. I bought a tarot. Were
you trying to impress a lady many years
No,
ago?
I just bought it out of curiosity because you hear about them, on and off over the years, and I've just thought I want to own a tarot deck just so I can say, yeah, I've got tarot. But I tell you what, and then I started down a rabbit hole going, so how does this reading work? So it's all like there's different methods of reading. There's a 3-card spread, and there's all kind of crazy stuff. So I think I'm going to learn how to do tarot.
I can't remember what show it was on, but someone was being dealt 3 tarot cards in the 3-card makeup you're talking about. And it had is it death? Is the whole one? And it came up 3 times. And he went, "Is that bad?" She said, "Well, there's only supposed to be 2 in the deck."
Oh, it's brilliant. That's brilliant. But the way the tarot deck is used, he's really it's really cool. I'm only scratching the surface with this game. Again, I got it from. I'll tell you where I got this from. I got this from Amazon. So this was available. You can buy it as a PDF directly from the guy's site, or you can buy a printed copy. And as with a lot of stuff that's printed on demand through Amazon, it'll say in the back of the book, printed in Great Britain by Amazon. It took about a week to come through, but I like to have a physical document.
Yeah,
there's just something about it. I know it's building clutter, but you're looking at something that's a centimetre or so thick, and it's something I can put my hands on, and it's not going to disappear on me unless I burn it or sell it or give it away. But I've got a whole rule set there that I'm going to have some more fun with. So that is Dungeon Solitaire, Labyrinth of Souls. There is actually an official tarot deck, which is designed by the guy, because in the advanced version, there's a whole set of extra cards called the Extra Arcana, which will never appear in a standard tarot deck. Standard tarot deck is your minor and your major arcana. That's it. That's your lot. 70 6 or 8 cards. Can't remember how much it is. So the extra Arcana you can use as intended. However, you don't need his special deck, the guy who designed it. You can just use a standard tarot deck and then use a D10 to count your hit points.
I gotcha.
You know, so we took you on a little delve, didn't we, through the basic version? How was that for you?
It was okay. You're right about it being a roguelike, because you also have to. What I didn't quite appreciate at the time is each time you advanced forward and you reach the success criteria, if you like, I didn't realise that you had to go back. So the further
I
you
should
go
have
in,
explained that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, so I did push my luck. I was like, I'll have one more delve forward, and then on the way back, I was getting some luck. I was getting some lucky draws, but there just wasn't enough cards left in my in my progress pile. I don't know what you call it.
No, you ran out of cards in the penultimate room, so you almost got out, but we lost you to the darkness for an eternity, where you became probably a monster. You monster.
It's not much of a stretch, is it?
So there you go. But both of those games, I like the fact that you're utilising other things. So with D100 Dungeon, it's pen and paper and dice. With Dungeon Solitaire, it's a deck of cards, and that's all you need to make the game, and you can play them solo. Perfect for current times, I would say.
I like it.
So there you go. That's my analog antics. Go have fun if you enjoy the sound of any of those, because there's free versions of both available.
I remember you hit me up, or I think you may have hit me up or hit the group up, where you were like, "Oh, there's it was a Humble Bundle or something like that, which I had a bunch of deck building games on there. Something of the Spire was on one of them, I think.
Slay the Spire?
Maybe. I think I played about 2 of them. I was like, I just can't do it. I just cannot do it.
No.
Deck building and me just don't gel.
Slay the Spire is a cracking one, because that is a roguelike. You know? But you're just finessing your deck to, in each round you're going through, you're drawing your cards and you're playing them, so that determines how you succeed against the monsters that you're up against. But plenty of time, mate.
One day,
my friend, one day. Okay, how are we doing? For time? Not that it matters.
There is still time left in the day.
There is.
There is light still.
There is plenty for us to talk about. How about we take a short moment just to collect ourselves, and then when we come back, we're resurrecting it, ladies and gentlemen, the MLGQ. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's MLGQ time. So we prior to our recording, or our original recording schedule on Thursday, we fired out a question to the Facebook group and also the Twitterverse, and we wanted to have you answer a specific question, which will have been share your lockdown highlights with us. What have you achieved, gaming or otherwise? And have you learnt any new skills? So let's delve into the rake of options, or the rake of answers that we've had from these lovely people. I'm going to start with the Facebooks, if I may, and Matthew, you're going to take care of Twitter once I'm through this list. So without further ado, let's crack on. So first up, Kev Wade. He said, since I was out of work at the start, I decided I'd get into streaming to see how that went. Really enjoying it. If anyone wants to see me in action, search up Dreadskin on Twitch. Shameless plug there. Shameless indeed, my friend, but always happy to, what's the word people are using now? To amplify.
Pimp?
Always happy to amplify a little bit of stuff there if somebody takes the time to leave us a nice comment like that. So thank you very much, Kev.
I did a spot of streaming as promised.
Did you?
Yeah, I did actually stream FTL a few times using, what did I use? I made a note of
OBS?
it. Yeah, which one was it? 'Cause I think there's a couple, aren't there? Streamlabs.
Okay.
Now, Twitch there's quite a rabbit hole of being a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
There's fucking leaderboards. There's achievements.
Is there now?
Yeah. Become different tiers and all of us. It's like the more you put into it, the more options they give you as a content creator, I suppose.
You could get your partner status.
Yeah. You can have custom emotes that you can then go and spam in other chat. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was too much. Too much for me. But I did enjoy it, though.
Well, you need to get on that tip, mate, because if you do it enough, then you'll get your partner status, and then you can wave your dick about a bit. Go, oh, look, I'm a Twitch partner. All Narcissist paradise, my friend. Okay, Scott Frew. He says, I'm in the middle of teaching myself to video edit for a side project, starting at midnight 2 days ago, and reckon I've clocked up about 12 hours on Adobe Premiere already. Now, I like this kind of thing. One of the things that lockdown, I think, has done for a lot of people is it's afforded them the time to sort of sit back and reflect on, is maybe there's something that you've always wanted to do, but you've never had the time. And it's kind of forced it upon you and said, right, now you got the time, bitch, because you're not going anywhere. So you got a choice. You can either just sit around flicking your bean and watching Judge Rinder all day, or you can actually do something. And Scott is doing something, getting himself into video editing.
Well, I'm ever so glad that I've had to be forced to work throughout all this, because in, say, a year's time, someone says, so what did you learn to play a new instrument or speak another language? I can say, no, sorry, too busy. Because the other response would have been, no, sorry, too lazy.
Yeah, I watched all the porn on the internet.
Do you know how hard that is? Even stuff that I wasn't all that into.
Yeah, I know, but it's... Well, okay.
There's a challenging wank, and then there's that.
Yeah. Toby James, he says he started growing vegetables and hops. Okay, so some good growing going on. People are getting themselves out into the garden.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when I was trying to get some flour, it's like you cannot buy flour because everyone's decided they're going to bake.
Yeah.
So everyone's decided let's be a bit self-sufficient while we're at it. Yeah. No, I'd say what I saw some of his spuds coming up. They were looking mighty. In fact, I saw a harvest he put on Facebook only yesterday of new potatoes.
Oh,
once.
Lovely. Get your spuds out, lads. Right then, who else have we got? Adam Boyne, he says, work has been stable. I've been working on some funky VR things in the background, but the main achievement was probably launching the Game Dev London podcast, a community for people to learn about making games. And the MLG community have been super supportive, as always, and I'm excited to help people get into the games industry. That's terrific, Adam. Really is.
I watched their inaugural show, if you like. It was very good, and we like that guy. The guy's he's clued up, he's smart, he's a developer himself.
Yeah, long-time supporter of the show and the community.
Was in a couple of his titles at Eurogamers and EGXs over the years. So God bless you sharing some of that knowledge.
Yeah. A good egg is what we would classify him as.
Yes, you're a good egg.
You're a good egg, my man. Okay. Speaking of good eggs, Matt Jones, one of our community managers, he started building a garden. He says, for a man with absolutely zero DIY skills, this has been a fair undertaking. Had to level off a big slope and build a frame and retaining wall, which took my ever so patient other half several hours and increasingly simple diagrams before I got it. Injuries to date, one bad back, possibly a trapped nerve, smashed my ear into a tree when I fell off a wall, and clocked myself over the head with a rake. That sounds about right.
At least he didn't step on the rake. He's not that much of a cartoon character.
No, only a slight cartoon character. But yeah, that's good to see you're getting stuck in there, Matt.
I've seen a lot of people doing some serious DIY lately, in the gardens especially. And fair play to you. I wouldn't want to be doing that.
I think it's the big thing in Barrow right now. Is garden work. I've been following Mr. Bonner, and his decking. Mighty fine. Mighty fine indeed. Okay. Richard Birch, he says, looking forward to hearing the show, fellas. During lockdown, I've done loads of needless housework, played about 300 hours of Rocket League, and finished Minecraft Dungeons and Streets of Rage 4. I've become completely obsessed with drum and bass. Oh, boy. I've gotten well into slow cooking also. I've shaved my head and grown a beard. Most importantly, I've established work and family boundaries and priorities that I hope stay in place long after lockdown. Hope you both kept well and look forward to hearing your tales. Question: who were the last 3 people you actually made physical contact with before lockdown? So there's a question for us.
Oh gosh, before lockdown.
I can't remember.
I'm not overly sure. I mean, we're talking sort of January, February sort of time. It would have been just the last 3 people I saw at the pub, I guess.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't remember. It's all a distant memory.
I'm pretty sure they remember it.
Yeah. Before the end times. Before the event.
Before the event.
Yes. Stay indoors.
For this week's quiz.
Right, who have we got next? Oh, James, also known as Jim Chilvers.
Young Jim
Says, can't wait for the episode. So far during lockdown, I've moved out, learnt to cook, learnt to iron, and even learnt how to wash my underwear. There's a story behind that somewhere. All attributes being added to my character skills. Gaming-wise, we've been playing Just Dance on the Wii to keep fit, which is always a laugh. And my personal gaming challenge is replaying every Assassin's Creed and only moving on when hitting 100% or getting the platinum. Just about to start Revelations, but finding those flags always so much fun.
You remember those flags.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Kieran John, he says, I also have 0 DIY skills, but managed to bodge this together for me and my daughter to make up for all the local climbing walls being closed. It's not killed us yet. So he actually embedded a video into his response, and he's built this, I guess this interior within his garage area, like climbing doohickey walls, like you would see at a climbing wall place. Yeah. But he's got one indoors. It's fantastic. I bet his daughter loves that. So well done, Kieran. That's amazing. What else have we got here? Malk, our Malk, long time listener, long time friend of the show.
Go Exiles.
A highlight of lockdown was a 10-year Facebook memory thingy telling my friends to listen to a podcast called Midlife Gamer. Yes, and they've hated you ever since, Malk. Lee Cox, one of my D&D brethren, he says, a positive side for me has been that I've joined a regular D&D group with Darren, something I've not played for about 35 years. I also have a regular tabletop simulator group for some board game action. I'm also enjoying the lack of pressure to do things at weekends, which have meant I've had more time to play board and video games. No DIY or garden projects for me. Good on you, mate.
Living the dream.
He is living the dream.
Do what you're good at.
You know, I mean, you've got to find some way of separating from work week to weekends. You know, I think it's still really important. There's a bit of self-discipline that needs to be applied there. And I think you and I are lucky because we're used to working from home. But I can imagine for a lot of people it's been a bit of a ball ache. But anyway, let's see who else we've got. Richard Forder, he says, been part of the D&D group, played board games, discovered Alcoholic Dandelion and Burdock. For me, there's not been much change as the job can be done from home. I've found it tough. Can't wait for some more MLG goodness. It is tough. It is tough. There's no two ways about it. We just got to be there for each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. And my door's always open if anyone wants to shoot the breeze ever.
Same here.
Feeling a bit down.
DM me.
Hit me up.
Yeah.
Slide right into my DMs. I'll love it.
Oh, that's what they say, isn't it? Slide into my DMs. Yeah.
Like a creepy pervert.
It feels like I've slipped on your cum or something. You left it all over the floor.
My dirty muck.
Yeah, you filthy boy. Mucky fella. Okay, Mr. Spink, Matthew Spink, another one of our community managers. He says, finding lockdown and the general shit show that is 2020 difficult, but like everyone else, just learning to get by. The biggest plus of lockdown has been going for regular local walks, with my 2 at home. I've been amazed how many ancient footpaths, woods and meadows are in the local area, and even bought my first hard copy Ordnance Survey Explorer map.
Oh, wowzers.
Wow. Tell you, here's a pro tip for you, Mr. Spink. Yeah, get on that geocaching tip.
He sounds like he's halfway there, doesn't he?
He is halfway there. I just need to nudge him a little further. Let's gamify that motherfucker, yes? Okay, Kath McCauley. Hi, Kath. She says, being made redundant at the beginning of lockdown was weird. Applying for jobs at the moment seems futile, so instead I've been a total Strava wanker and also a Garmin wanker with the challenge of running the further than anyone else in the Garmin group. It's going fairly well with 95 kilometres run so far. That's pretty fucking amazing, Kath, I must say. With regards to video games, Game Pass has been my saviour. I'm juggling Minecraft Dungeons, or Baby's First Dungeon Crawler as it's otherwise known, with Elder Scrolls Online, hello to Matt Spink, and No Man's Sky. I'm having a lot of fun, and for the most part, keeping the anxiety of unemployment at bay. It does provide a good distraction. You know, a lot of things are said about gaming over the years, but it does help. It helps through troubled times. Yeah.
And speaking of Elder Scrolls Online, Spinky got in touch with me.
Yeah.
He goes, I've just been chatting to somebody from your past. I says, was it an ex-fiancé by any chance, and were you talking Elder Scrolls Online? He went, yeah.
Oh my God.
There is one of my one of the three ladies I dropped a knee to is in our gaming group.
Nice. That's not awkward, is it?
No, that was a long time ago.
Darren Hilton says, I was only furloughed for 3 weeks, but started a CAD course online. Turns out I'm terrible at learning anything. Well, at least you're trying, Darren.
Computer-aided design?
Yes.
CAD.
Not easy. It's not easy stuff. You've got to work in multiple dimensions.
Oh, I thought it was just boxes.
No.
Squares and shit.
3Ds and shit.
Wow.
All the Ds. Okay, who we got next? Mike Harrison. He says, probably too late for the record. No, you're not too late, my friend. But since being furloughed, I've taught myself how to build a website and have started blogging about analog games. Still only early days as the site has been live for about 2 weeks, but I've enjoyed it immensely. And my passion for writing has been rekindled. Almost don't want to go back to my real job and wish I could find a way of making this pay. Wouldn't we all, my friend? Wouldn't we all? And if you're interested, go over and check his gear over at thisismytable.com.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, sounds like my kind of gig.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. But wouldn't we all want to find a way of making this pay for itself?
Yeah, we probably should have looked into that 10 years ago.
Yes, maybe we should have. But here we are.
Bringing you the same content for the same price.
Okay, Simon Stevens says, so what have we done so far during lockdown? Remember, Scotland is about 3 weeks behind Englandshire. Got re-addicted to Football Manager, taking teams that have no right to be in the top league to Champions League goodness. 1,600 hours later, we looked for other things to do. Got the wife into deck building games through Clank. Bought a Space Invaders board game through Kickstarter. Christmas 2020 should be fun. Completed a load of console games, including WWE 2K20, spandex. Power Star Golf, got away through Detroit. Watched the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe story in chronological order. Binged Britannia, Brassic, Bulletproof, and Blue Bloods. A lot of B-titled shows there. Beaky Blinders. Yeah.
Brazzers.
Beaky, yeah, absolutely. Now looking at secret things for a little project that will become clear in good time. Oh yeah, and learned the basics of sign language too. Okay, that sounds like he's got a load of stuff done there.
Jesus, I check you out.
Yeah, get in, my friend. Steve Roswell, he says, I've been working from home all the way through, but in my spare time I've been sorting out the loft, as it was well overdue and a productive use of time spent in. However, I was unaware of the enormity of the task and may need the lockdown to continue for another couple of years so I can finish the job. Gaming-wise, I bought myself a wheel stand for use for a steering wheel and a fantastic gadget that allows you to use pretty much any wheel with current-gen consoles called Wheel Hub. Sounds interesting. And I've been honing my swearing by playing Warzone and alternating between being half decent and fully terrible at it.
I think that's the Call of Duty.
Could be. Has Final Fantasy VII Remake and Death Stranding at the top of the pile of shame, but not starting either at any time soon, as if he does, he may need the lockdown to continue for a decade in order to complete the Loft project. Stay focused, my friend. The Loft project, you'll feel epic after it's all done, trust me. And I don't know whether that's the way my Facebook has done it, but I've come to the end of my list. Oh. So it sounds like, I hope, if I've missed anyone, I do apologise. This is just the way, it's just the way my internet works. The way my Facebook works.
Yeah. Well, at least you know how to use it.
Ish.
I'll tell you what. I'll take the reins from Twitter because the same question did go out as well. So let us take a quick look. Oh, here we go. We have a response here from Monty1157. He says, "Yay, new podcast. Highlights have been new cupboards and shelving in the living room for the consoles, pet chickens, and I've seen a lot of people as well maybe go down the self-sufficient route of been looking at the old chicken and the egg laying."
Yeah, how does that work? Do you need?
You need a license, I don't think.
No. But I'm curious. Do you obviously got to get your hens. Your hens are your layers. But do they just shit eggs out like every day without any interaction, or do they need a cock to make the eggs happen?
That sounds like a question for Monty1157, not myself.
Okay, I apologise in advance for my blatant ignorance of chicken husbandry.
All right. He also says finished at least one game somewhere, and his new skills involve juggling, looking after the kid with working with circular saws, and retaining all digits. Well done. Make sure you continue to keep all them digits in the right place. Yeah. Blair Ferguson, Big Blair 68 says highlights been loads more gaming time. Downside, though, I would be a smart ass and do a second concurrent year of shame challenge, and was looking fairly easy with the pile. I had prior to lockdown, but starting to look a bit sparse now. And he's thrown us a question as well. What have you found both easiest and most difficult in relation to lockdown, and specifically gaming during lockdown? The hours I put into dogging have gone down.
Dogging's out the window.
Dogging's out the window for the moment, and usually the window's open and people just reach in.
You could bring the dogging to the home,
but that's just a swings party.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think
how does that work with social distance? Observing social distancing and having a randy old time with people.
I guess a 2 meter long dildo. I don't know. I guess I've got a feeling there were some deviants out there who not much would stop them, let alone a disease. Okay. They probably got worse than corona, though.
Probably yes.
What's he asking now? A difficult. From a gaming point of view, I'm still gaming as much as I can. I guess. I think I don't know. I'm just going to keep on rocking and rolling. I think I need to find some more shorter, smaller, bite-sized gaming. Maybe is the way forward for me. Yeah. After the last.
I've certainly gone down that route. It's got to be shorter bursts, and I've kind of reflected that in the games I've been playing on the Switch, and also with the analog stuff that I've had going on. It's not been the worst thing, but it's made me readjust to the new normal. And I know things will get back to some kind of normality at some point. But in the meantime, I've got a lot of board games which are never going to see the table. I think the easiest thing has been able to share a space with my good lady. It's been amazing, and that's kind of made me, I guess, reevaluate how I spend my time. So I probably do spend less time gaming than I would normally if I was sat at home.
So, I know that we're going back to, I guess, I know a few people in your situation who have thrust themselves into cohabiting before necessarily planning to. And for the most part, everything's gone well with that.
Yeah.
Was yours, I don't know, was there ever a reluctance, or did you always like to know that there was your world that you could always retreat to?
I think you get into a habit. you get into a habit and you develop what your sense of your own space looks like. And if you're given a choice of whether you keep that or keep the norm, what your current norm is, or move into a different area where you are spending a lot more time with somebody, you would probably invariably default to, well, things are all right as they are. But, you know, the way our relationships developed over the years, you know, we've grown increasingly closer and closer. And when we had the conversation about, you know, spending the lockdown together, it was a resounding positive from both of us. Said, yeah, come on, let's do this. Let's do this. And there's, you know, unless she's going to tell me otherwise when I get home.
She could be packing your shit up right now.
She's packing my shit
You
up.
spend as long as you need, Treacle.
But no, it's been amazing. And I guess it reaffirms the feeling that I've always had, which is that, yeah, I could see myself, you know, this being a permanent thing at some point. You know, I might have to marry the girl or something.
Well, you could
make an honest woman of her.
See you, Rougeley.
Could happen.
Well, you're closer where you are. I like the fact that we're closer.
Oh, I like the fact that we're closer as well.
Ooh. Anyway, moving on. We've got Matt, Empower343, says, finally succumbed and bought a Quest. I'm assuming his Oculus Quest. Wondered why I didn't do it ages ago. VR, you still locking and rolling yours?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, mate. I haven't switched mine on for ages, but that's purely because the weather's been so fucking glorious, and I've got other things going on. I've probably got my usual thing is I've got too many things going on. I've always got fingers in pies, and this is part of my innate obsession for my brain to be permanently active. I always have to be occupied with something. So whether it's, you know, my analog gaming, my digital gaming, cooking, spending time with a good lady, and sometimes things slide, and the Quest is definitely one that's slid. And that's no detriment to the product, because it is pretty fucking amazing. But maybe when we get to the winter months and we start spending more time indoors, then that might be the return to the Quest for me.
I like it. Let's see. We've got Rincewind, otherwise known as Trillion. She says, aside from working and realising I'm the worst home tutor in the world, I beat Dragon Quest VIII. It took me about 70-something hours. Rekindled my love for D&D, again, via Roll20.
Fantastic. Well done.
And have been introduced to online board games, which I've been enjoying immensely. Not sure which ones, but online board games.
All right. What was up for that?
Let's see. We've got Psalms 67. Good old Colm. He says he's been made redundant. Sorry, fella, to hear that. Streaming a little more on my Twitch channel. Painting table legs. He says he's still hoping for MLGX that can happen in September. Hope you lovely sexy men are safe and well. Now, there was a thread like that on the Facebook group, but I forget who it was who started. And I think my response was, I've still got that hotel booked.
Yeah.
I'm not planning on cancelling it.
Yeah.
So I guess we will see.
I mean, as long as it's legal and allowed, I'm getting my ass to Birmingham at the end of September. Even if it means that there's just a dozen of us just spending some wonderful time in each other's company, you know, that'll be my MLGX.
Yeah.
You know, so don't fear if you booked hotel.
You won't be on your own.
You won't be on your own.
Let's see. Lovely Neil Jarrett, again, another one of our community managers and fantastic human beings. He says, I'm classed as a key worker. He works for Royal Mail, as we know, even though I've never delivered a letter in my life. So I've been working from home. Learning how to attend conference calls in just my pants when I forget to set the alarm. Also learning new sandwich toaster recipes and creating a new way to cook garlic chicken Kievs. Now, right, this guy blew a number of fucking minds when it came to a Gears and Beers, which was to take one of those cracking chicken Kievs that you get, garlic ones, and cooking it underneath a slice of bread.
It makes, when you describe it, it is a game changer. It makes sense because there's always an element of pissing out of a garlic.
It just gets stuck
out of a chicken Kiev.
It gets stuck everywhere, and you can't fucking.
And it feels like a waste when you see it's all pissed out onto your baking tray. You just think, oh, that would have been nice. That would, because now I've got a hollow piece of fucking chicken. But no, it goes on with that bread. Down with that, my friend. Totally.
I'll tell you, it even works with the mini ones as well.
Oh,
mini chicken king. Okay. Absolutely. Let's see. We've got look after yourselves. Dr. Scarbs, there we go. He says, you guys are probably recorded already. Ooh, no, little did you know. But I finally got my gold chocobo in the original Final Fantasy VII after like 20 years. My word. Have you got any unconquered things that you always wanted to achieve in any of your old gaming back in the day that still... I mean, did you ever finish... What was that Defender-style little shooter that you used to love? Scramble. Did you ever finish Scramble?
Yeah, I finished it. I think there was an achievement for online, and I'm sure there's somebody out there. It might be Brother Brown actually. He's always said, "Come on, I'll help you get that achievement." And I think I've missed the boat on that one because I don't play it anymore. Do you know what? I don't know. There's so many games that I've started and never finished, and I will continue to do that. Obviously, as has been reflected in my so far playthrough of Tales of Vesperia. Maybe I should, I don't know. Maybe I should target myself to say, right, take one JRPG that you've started and finish it.
Oh, what was that 4-disc one that had the great intro?
Lost Odyssey. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I'll wait for the definitive edition to come out on Switch.
Of course you are. Let's see, we're almost there now. Gareth Cutcliffe, just wanted to say, looking forward to hearing you guys again. Thanks.
Thank you, Gareth.
Here we are, by all accounts. Martin Hindley, he says, furloughed since April the 9th and expecting redundancy immediately.
Oh.
But on a brighter note, he purchased a PS4 Pro and resubscribed to PS Plus for 12 months. Played Dirt Rally 2 with Colm and Justin and friends from the Last Save Loaded podcast and joined Nathan Drake for some adventures. Good for you.
Yeah, nice work, fella. Making good out of a shitty situation.
Why not? The lovely Adamski says, shit on it, I might be too late. You're never too late, Ad. You like a wizard, you arrive exactly when the time is right.
When he means to.
Something, Gandalf. He said, have either of you had any gigs or events cancelled this year? No, we have. So we've had that arbitrary thing saying, well, obviously you're not going to go and watch Green Day and Weezer this year, are you, Matthew?
No.
So I think they just put a 1 on the end of the year and cross their fingers.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Like, maybe next year.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I had a trip to I had a hotel booking in Snowdonia, cancelled. We have a voucher to rebook at some point, so we'll just wait for this all to blow over, and then we'll revisit that. It'd be nice to get back to the mountain. I had a gig cancelled on us. That's Stuart Lee live. That was due at the end of this month.
Oh, yeah.
That's been pushed back until next year, so absolutely fine.
Bang a 1 on it.
No problem. Yeah, bang a 1 on it. Aside from that, I don't think there's anything else. But I think one thing I didn't forget to mention, and I can't remember if I did or not. Tell me if I did before we recorded last. I got to go. I'm so glad I booked for the first week it was open. Book of Mormon came to Birmingham Hippodrome. So I got to see the Book of Mormon. It was fucking ace.
Yeah,
absolutely ace. But that was obviously like all other theatre productions. Lockdown, everything shut down. It's gone. So I've got a programme. Might be worth some money now.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. We had we were due to go with the Dogs Dorset Way, an Airbnb gig.
Yeah.
But Airbnb, bless them, they're like you can just cancel and get a refund. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bless them.
Yeah. I've still got a holiday booked for October, which has not yet been cancelled. So I'm kind of fingers crossed.
Yeah, your usual kind of sunning it up.
Yeah. Getting my bitch ass overseas.
Right, hey, we got one here from Daniel Ocock, who we know he's helped us out in the past for MLGX artwork, digital artwork
Superstar.
Contributions.
Thank you, Daniel.
He says, made and launched a podcast myself, got my Xbox back online, found out how frustrating COD is again. I've not managed to get any drawing done for such a long time. Hope you guys are staying awesome. Well, thank you, Daniel. You should get that digital brushstroke of yours back up and running, or whatever you do.
Get your digital art out. How does that work? You know, like him and Tone, that you're our Bob Rosses of the 21st century. Don't leave it behind. You happy little trees. We need it.
Last one we have here was from Justin Smith on his 6 himself. He says, lockdown has encouraged me to stream more, but also chat more in streams I watch, including a rather fateful session of FTL where Mantis Matt was not reading the chat and let all of his crew suffocate when he was screaming to shut the airlock. Now, I mentioned that before. Now, thank you very much, Justin. It's great. Now, streaming it's a peculiar thing. I guess it's almost like when you start anything new. So when we first started podcasting, we were like, well, who the fuck's going to listen to us? And sometimes you have to have that kind of realization or something sort of clicks in you. Now, when it came to streaming, I was kind of like, well, let's not play this under the assumption that people are going to watch. Just play it because you enjoy playing. And if somebody pops in to say hello, that's lovely.
It's a bonus, isn't it?
It's an absolute bonus. And yeah, it was fun to play with a couple of people there, sort of chatting to themselves, chatting to me. But Justin's played that game in the past, and this is what's annoying me about Twitch. Obviously, I didn't read how it works, but I didn't realise they just delete your video after a couple of weeks, unless you export it and save it or clip it. But there were so many times where I was talking to him and not paying attention. I'm like, why are all my people like, all the doors are open, there's no oxygen? In fact, I may have clipped a few things. Actually, I may have clipped them. I might see if they still exist. And because one thing that I didn't do. Now, I don't know. When it comes to social media and sharing what I'm doing, right? I'll happily throw onto Twitter. Right, gang, 15 minutes. I'm going to come and join me for a bit of X, Y, and Z. Yeah. I wouldn't put that on Facebook. I don't know why, but like firstly, I put nothing on Facebook. Nothing. I very rarely. In fact, if it's anything, every now and again I'll see a memory comment from 11 years ago that just says, "Oh, has had a great day sitting in pants doing nothing." Like, well, that doesn't need to exist, so you can get deleted.
Yeah.
So if anything, I'm actively deleting my shit off Facebook. But I don't want to be. I don't know. I don't want crazy cousins of mine who I only see every couple of years at weddings and funerals to be like, what's Matty up to?
Yeah, I rarely ever post anything on my personal timeline. If I post anything within the group, invariably it will be something positive, something that adds value. But that's the way I approach Facebook. You know, unless you've got some value to add or you're helping somebody out, shut the fuck up. Just stay out of it. I don't know how much of a big shit you've had this morning. And I don't want to see pictures of your kids. And I don't want to see pictures of your pets. And I don't want to see any of that shit. But hey, I showed a picture of the cats. They're ace. You people. I'll become one of you people. I love it. I've become a big fan of the felines. Like, I must say.
Well, there you go. An MLGQ well and truly exhausted.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
everybody.
Wrung
that one right out, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that coming back?
Could be.
Second show in a row we've done that.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda maybe.
I like it.
Yeah,
it's
man.
a bit of this whole thing. It's almost like a bit of we've gone back in time.
I know, man. If I have an ice cream van anytime soon, it'll be God's will, because I've not heard one around here.
Do you know what? I've really enjoyed this. I really, really have. And it has taken me back to the early days. And if possible, I'd like to do this again. How do you feel?
I think that's a cracking idea. I don't know if you got any room for me to come and visit you, or logistically it makes more sense this way.
Maybe. We'll work it out.
We'll work it out.
But I don't want this to be the one and only time we do this. No.
And you and I have had a bit of a chat recently about expectations from ourselves and from our listeners.
Yeah.
We're very well aware that, I mean, we didn't even open the show with "It's been a while, yes we know." That joke kind of died a death 3 or 4 years ago. But no, we do want to have some kind of an understanding between ourselves and for your listeners, so we all know what to expect when it comes to the ongoing sagas of the Midlife Gamer podcast. I mean, Jesus, the way we're going, we might hit episode 300. We might.
Might? What year?
It could be that naturally.
Well, we're on 295. It's creeping up.
Well, what was that one person worked out? We're doing about 7 shows a year?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is my pledge for you, right? We'll get back together within a month. How does that sound? 4 weeks?
4 weeks?
4 weeks?
Can we? 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Can we all hold you to that?
Yes, by all means.
Hear that, people?
Hold me to it. 4 weeks, give or take a few days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on, we're all friends
Brilliant.
here.
Because I tell you what, I could do this week in, week out. Just like we used to.
Oh, yeah.
If I'd more to talk about, but obviously I don't play as many games as I used to way back then. God, we used to work ourselves so hard to play as many things as possible.
Have my finger on the pulse all the time. Things like Boomerang Gaming used to save us a fortune.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Get 3 of them on the go at a time. Make sure there's always one in the post. One's recycling through. New releases comes out. We better organise our charts. Change your subscription model so you're more likely to get a release game.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we're straying into the domestic zone, I feel, Matthew.
All right, shall I do them?
Please do.
Right then. Well, as we always say, you can go to midlifegamer.net. You should do that. See what happens. As well as that, we've got a Facebook group. Facebook group's great.
Don't forget the Twitters.
Yeah, go to the Facebook group. For anybody who is in the group, you may not notice, but we, like many groups, like to make sure that we create and decide who comes in. It can be as simple as taking a look at your most recent post on your public wall. If something matters to you and it doesn't matter to the rest of the world, you might not be coming in. But there's always a gateway question, and there's one thing that the only trouble with that gateway question is that if you invite a friend to come in, they may not necessarily get that. So do point them to go. And I don't know how you do that. There must be a method of reviewing the entry criteria into a group, but do pay attention to that. And we've updated that. So if you are going to come and join, it's been somewhat gamified. You have to do a little more than just go and find out that our first podcast was called Lemon Party.
Yeah. Well, you assuming you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is reading the rules and understanding what the rules are, then you won't have a problem getting in. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's not a tight, close-knit group where we don't want people to join, but. No. If somebody can't spend a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes just understanding the bare minimum, I do remember because obviously one of the first things was what was the first episode of the first podcast. Hints, go to midlifegamer.net to find out. Somebody said something like, that's just typical self-promotion. I'm not going to do that. I thought, well, brilliant. Well, you can fuck off. Then you're not coming into my house. Simple as.
Yes.
And it's still treated like it's one of our homes or one of our parties where we will always be incredibly inclusive. I mean, some of the content and the posts and the conversations going on there, they range from incredibly deep personal stories to themselves, which people can appreciate and help people along with, to just fantastic gaming talk. Obviously, I say we, it's the royal we. Yeah. We have some fantastic members of the team in there, sort of adminning and orchestrating things, but just little things like with The Last of Us 2 coming out, we wanted to be really remind people, look, do not take the piss and do not spoil this or you is out.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, thank God for this, because I am consciously concerned about being anywhere near the scent of a spoiler. So yeah, Facebook, it's fun. Twitterverse, so you can still follow the main feed, which is at midlifegamernet.
Yes.
You can follow Darren, he's at uncle_Fister. And I'm on there at MantisMatt with 1 T. No email addresses.
No, don't need that shit.
No.
That's so 20 years ago.
Yeah.
My personal address is still an AOL account.
Did you ever have a CompuServe? Was it that CompuServe just gave you a random string of numbers?
No. My first email address was tied to my AOL account, and I've never changed it.
I had a Demon. Demon were an ISP.
Yeah.
In the late 90s.
Fantastic.
Jesus. Anywhere else you could find us? Everything. The Twitches, the oh, did you ever bother downloading that? What was it called now? House Party? So when lockdown happened, it was like, shit, we need to...
No, didn't.
There was something called House Party
Yeah.
that a few people...
Stayed away from that.
I uninstalled it.
Yeah.
I used it once, but you're all right.
Yeah.
You're all right.
A little play with that that face app thing. The latest thing it's doing is swapping your gender.
Yeah, I saw a... it looked like Riker and Deanna Troi in one, and that was a challenge, but I got through it.
Best one I've seen still to this day is William Shatner. It's fucking hot.
Really?
Yeah, I'd totally do that. Yeah, so that's us. That's us. We're here. We've done, we've spoken, we've enjoyed. I've had a great time.
Oh, I've had a cracking time. I'm genuinely re-energized.
Yes.
But when you go, I'll get the spray out. And
Of course you will, yeah. You'll have to wipe everything down, of course. And that's not only for the COVID, that's for the other stuff as well. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to leave you to your lockdown. Be wonderful to each other. At a safe distance, of course. Wash your hands. And go balls deep wherever you can within the realms of government advice. And what do they do? They follow the science. What's the phrase they use? They're guided by science. Okay? If there's any one science you need to be aware of, it's that the Midlife Gamer podcast is a magical thing. Don't ever forget it, and you won't go far wrong.
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Mostly homophobic.
It's that Brommy lad. It's just all about the arsehole. And I still am. So there you go. Join us next time when we bring you another exciting episode of the Midlife Gamer podcast. Say goodbye, Matthew.
Goodbye.
So your missus is giving me a tour of the upstairs. I've seen the Reiki room.
Yeah, it's not a milking table.
It's not. I was disappointed. Disappointed, very much disappointed. And I like your white room.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And just so we're clear, the white room is your guest room.
Not the KLF album.
Not the KLF album, no. So I mean, I did ask Jo. So the way she's doing, she's not actually doing much in the way of Reiki at the moment. But she says she's doing some remote Reiki.
Distance Reiki. Distance
How
Reiki.
does that work?
Probably the same way as normal Reiki does.
Just bullshit over the phone, as opposed.
Well, it's not even over the phone. It's not even over the phone. It'd be like, right, at a time, they'll agree a time.
Yeah.
And she'll request that whoever it is sends a picture of themselves where they feel really happy or really good about themselves. And she'll focus on that image. And in theory, they're both at the same time relaxing and breathing. And even if it's just a... Gosh, what's the word now? If it's a placebo, then what the hell? If someone got a bit of something from it because they just found the time and inclination to get some deep breaths and closed eyes, then knock yourselves out. But look, she gave me some Reiki, 2 Reiki sessions recently, and one of them was out in the garden.
Yeah.
So the sun was out, and I had the big lazy boy recliner on the go, feet up. And she came over and started doing some Reiki, and I just got incredibly relaxed, and my breath was slow and deliberate, and I didn't even know that she'd buggered off inside to go and do some other stuff. I thought she was still there. A few times when she's done it, I'm like, she must be still doing it. This feels the best thing ever.
Wow.
But yeah, that's. I've not done it on the bed yet, though. I've not had the full-on treatment yet. No. I need to get her a sexier white coat for that.
Yeah, that table looks. It's probably just me because I've put a bit of weight on. I don't think it would take my weight, to be honest, mate. I don't want to be the guy that breaks a Reiki bed.
Is that how much you hate it?
Oh, she gave me a lovely tour of the gardens as well. And
you can see now why bin day is a bit of a pain in the arse for me.
Well, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
The bin's a shame. I've had to take to crushing my cans down.
Have you got one of those proper can crushers?
No, I've got 2 feet.
Get a doohickey.
I've got 2 feet.
Yeah, well, no, it's not the same, is
What do
it?
you mean it's not the same?
Oh, it is the same.
It's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? What am I talking about? So what's your what's on the agenda for this week? What are you getting up to?
Well, in theory, this is my last week at work, and then I get a week off.
Oh, right.
So I've got 19 days I need to try and take between now and the end of September.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
And have you got any thought about doing anything with that time, or is it just a case of you're going to be stuck at home but not working?
It's probably going to be that. I don't know. I might indulge in some. I don't know. I might catch up with one of my old friend from my old town who's got dogs, going on a nice big old social distancey dog walk. Might be nice.
I'd encourage you to do that. Just do something different. You know, even if it does mean you just going to socially distance somewhere else in the world. You know, but we'll get through it, my friend.
We will. I'm having more up days than down days, and the down days aren't nearly as bad as they were 2.5 months ago.
No, I still have the odd down day. You know, it's not the best, but you know, they're far less frequent than they were in the past.
Yeah, I mean, as a team, we've already delivered as much in these 3 months than usually takes us 8 months, and I've been trying to remind everyone that that's not where we want to be. Just because we can don't mean we're having to accept an element of risk. If we're given 2 days to do something, we usually give us 2 weeks for. But touch wood, again, some great people working very hard to make sure that patient care remains as good as it can be. And yeah, call 111, knock yourselves out.
Yeah.
They're all right then.
Yeah. So you're not tarred with any brush relating to the contact tracing app.
Fucking hell, fine, no.
Oh. So we're going to get a fucking shoe-in for that, aren't we?
Well, just follow the money. Jesus.
Yeah. Is it one of Dominic's buddies that runs the company?
Of course it is.
Fuck
of course
you,
it is.
You fucking clown.
I know, man. And Apple and Google are like, no. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, two of the biggest companies in the world coming together as an unstoppable force to say, right, we're going to take care of this shit. And then Boris is going, oh, no, we're doing our own thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Dominic's got a mate who's going to knock some up for us.
Yeah, man, he builds websites, you know.
Yeah. Fucking clown.